I'm gonna mute it for now.
All right, guys, we are live. Nasdaq is effectively in correction territory. Might have heard Britt say he was going to mute it just now. Nasdaq is effectively in correction territory. Let me know if the sound is good. Look at the Nasdaq though. The Nasdaq is down today. We are at 23,648 right now. Market's looking scary, honestly. The Nasdaq again, technically in correction territory this morning. If you look at the previous highs we made back in October, the Nasdaq is now officially in correction territory. It is down 10.5% versus those highs from October. A little bit of a longer term one, but we are in correction territory. We're also under 24,000, down to about 23,600s in the Nasdaq. It's not looking good. The S&P 500 is not quite there yet. The S&P 500, if we look relative to its highs were 743 or 7043, I'll call it. And the S&P 500 is now down to 6495. We'll call it 6500. So the S&P is down about 8%. The Dow, if we take a look at this morning here, the Dow is down from its highs up there earlier this year at 50,611. It is now down to 46,000 morning, 46,000. So the Nasdaq is down over 9%. Or the Dow is down over 9%. We can look at the Russell as well if you guys want. The Russell, not as down as everything else since Russell's small caps, but Russell previous highs were early this year at 2749s. We are now at 2489s. So the Russell was down 9.5%. So everything's kind of down. Markets are nervous. There's a lot of news causing this, and we can talk about it. I was kind of talking about it earlier, but yeah, we are officially in correction territory on the Nasdaq. This is mostly driven by a couple different things. Oil, Brent crude is now over 110 right now, I believe. We have 2-year yields that are sitting over 4%, or at least right at 4% right now. They have pulled back a little bit here. They were over 4%. They're now back down to exactly 4% is what I'm looking at them for 2-year treasury yields. The 10-year treasury yield is up to almost 4.5%. Now, yesterday, if you guys remember this, the president pushed his threat to strike Iran's power plants back another 10 days. He extended the deadline. Originally, it was a 48-hour ultimatum. He then paused it for 5 days. Now another 10 on top of that. A lot of people are going to say this is a taco move, which again is a stand. I'm not saying I agree with this, but this is kind of the big word that's floating around markets right now. It's taco. It stands for Trump, always chickens out. So you have a bunch of traders that are now taking the opposing moves of the president because they're saying he always kind of backs out of what he says. And maybe this is another example of it. If he gave a 48-hour deadline, he then paused it for 5 days, backing out of that previous 48-hour deadline. And then he backed out of the 5-day deadline. Now it's another 10 days on top of that. You could also see it as him trying to make some type of harmony here and figure it out. He framed it as progress. And so I'm not saying I agree with that, but that's how he framed it. Said Iran let 10 tankers through. So Iran did let 10 oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz this week. And he said talks are going well. The reality is he keeps moving the goalpost back a little bit because he doesn't want to actually follow through on the strikes because that's going to cause more escalation and turmoil. And again, it's a public perception battle right now. If there's a small chance for a deal, I think he wants to take it. For markets, 10 more days of no power plant strikes is a mildly positive thing. It keeps the diplomatic window open. And but it also means 10 more days of uncertainty and oil probably staying higher. On top of all this stuff, we have, let me put the S&P or the Nasdaq up. I'm going to put the Nasdaq up. That's what's in correction territory. But yeah, so another thing that caught everybody off guard is China quietly escalated its trade dispute with the United States. This is the tariff situation that's been simmering all year. The Trump President Xi meeting got pushed back to mid-May because of this conflict. And in the meantime, China is tightening screws a little bit. This is bad because the economy is already dealing with oil shocks, stagflation fears, conflict, and now you add trade war uncertainty on top of it. So it's a second front of geopolitical risk. And yeah, we'll see what we get. But next week is actually a really busy week. China's cabinet meeting will focus on advancing the services industry to reach a higher value. I'm seeing that news just drop. But does the Nasdaq rebound back today? Let me know. I'm tired of winning. More opportunity for low prices on gold. What's up, Sam? Drake, Stunt, Kenny, Mike, Reggie, R, Womble, Pulse, Carlton, Dragos, VA, Brian, Pew, Blaze, Kenny, Riz, Game, Cooler Hand, Ty, Mark, Cash, Mike, Big Slum. I don't know what to call that guy. 9. C-Man, Old Hack, PH, Deck, Checkboard, Curtis, F8, Rory. Still going through, man. A lot of people commenting this morning. Sergio, because of the correction. Ed, Max, Jonathan. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Do we bounce back today? Again, NASDAQ officially in correction territory this morning. Officially in correction territory. We are at 23,643 on the NASDAQ here. Yeah, honestly, next week is kind of crazy too. Because next week, Jerome Powell speaks. He does speak next week. We also have the JOLTS job report on Tuesday. On Wednesday, I think we have retail sales data. Thursday, we got jobless claims. On Wednesday, we also have ADP monthly jobs report. Friday, we got the official jobs report at 8:30 from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, where we're going to get payroll numbers. Bitcoin, in the wake of all this, you know, I got to refresh my screen just to make sure this is accurate. Bitcoin down to 66,000. Breaking down here. Along with everything else, to be honest. But Bitcoin now down to 66,000. It was over 70. People were really optimistic for this. Now it's looking sketchy. I'm a bull in Bitcoin, though. I want Bitcoin to go up. You know, people like to criticize Bitcoin and all this stuff. And I get it, but they're saying, oh, well, you know, digital money. Money's digital, guys. Money's digital. And it's no longer backed by gold, really, either, if we're being honest. And so you gotta look at Bitcoin in terms of utility. Blockchain is useful. You can't really hack it. You can't really counterfeit it. You can send money anywhere in the world very easily, very quickly. And for the same reason PayPal is valuable, blockchain and cryptocurrencies are valuable in that regard in a lot of different ways. Does the S&P correct next week? Here's a good question right now. I'm not going to make it a poll, but does the S&P enter correction territory next week? Here's the S&P 500. You get the S&P 500 at, what was it, down 8%? So the S&P 500 is down 8%. Most people are going to consider a mild correction starting at 10%, which is the NASDAQ down 10.5%, mild correction territory at this point in time. S&P down 8% and need another 2% plus to enter that correction territory. Also, if you've been using my coupon codes, I consolidated them all to just BGT, beginner trading. BGT is the new coupon code for all of them. You can use it for all of them. BGT. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people are speculating that there could be some more craziness happening over the weekend.
So do you think it's going to correct? I have no basis for this, but I don't think so.
The S&P 500?
Or like, you think it's going to bounce back? That's what I'm saying.
Oh, bounce back?
In general, the markets. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. I misspoke.
Well, yeah, you're good. I think it just depends on what happens over the weekend. You know, I've talked about this a lot, but prior to this conflict starting, at the end of February, there were rumors just like there are right now. And I'm not saying they're going to follow through again and they're going to, you know, fulfill themselves again. I'm not saying that. But previously, at the end of February, people kind of knew that there could be strikes over the weekend, that weekend at the end of February into March, right? There were rumors oil was elevated. You can kind of see the rumor mill in regards to what futures do, right? If oil starts ripping up at, like, on Friday ahead of the weekend, you know, unless there's something that's already set in stone that's going to happen, that's people getting baked into a potential thing. And during that period of time, oil was elevated. Not as elevated it is now after the strikes were confirmed, but it was still elevated. So we're going to watch oil today. Oil, again, already up. WTI crude at 96.70s. And I think we also just have to look at the history of previous trends and with stuff like this. And I think it's very possible something happens this weekend. I'm not saying for sure. I don't know. But at the very least, traders and markets are getting baked into deeper escalation in the Middle East, more tensions, more uncertainty, at least for another 10 days now. We had some optimism this week about maybe they'd get a deal done. And I think things are looking better than they were, to be honest. And what I mean by that is, like, at least the two countries are communicating back and forth in somewhat reasonable ways. Now, I'm putting reasonable in air quotes here because, whether you consider what they're saying back and forth as reasonable is, a different story. But they're communicating back and forth. They're using intermediary countries. And I think that is somewhat, and I'll say somewhat, optimistic. We'll see what happens. Oil coming down, though. S&P 500 is bouncing higher. I asked the chat, do they think the S&P enters correction territory? Let's see what they've got to say. Yeah. That's my pool guy. We had some trouble with our pool guy for a while. Like, we had a pool guy that was coming out here, and he would come out here like once every few weeks. Our pool started turning green. I don't know what he was doing. He came over here a couple times, and he was talking. Now our pool's looking great, though. No judgment to him. The more effort put into propping up markets, the more damage will be done when it does not work. I'm so sick of the stock market. John, I'll always hire a pool girl. Trust me on this. Yeah, I haven't learned how to do it all yet. I never had a pool growing up, so I never learned how to manage a pool.
Seems like it's more trouble than it's worth sometimes.
Oh, water bill. Yeah. High impact news. I got my BJJ brown belt recently. Congrats, brother. Congrats, man. Brown belt's a tough belt. Why is it a tough belt? Because nobody's taking it easy on you anymore. Maybe the black belts would be nice to the purple belts, and, purple belts would be nice to the, white belts and so forth. Once you get to brown, everybody's just kind of like, dude, you're still beating most people, but. Yeah, markets, guys. Very interesting today. Very interesting. NASDAQ hit 10% yesterday at the close. Yeah, we basically ripped up on the extension. Like, look, here's what happened yesterday. So Trump announced this 10-day extension. And markets originally reacted really well to this during the open of futures yesterday. Here's the S&P 500. But it didn't hold, and we basically had corrected it all back down within 20 minutes. And then we basically just consolidated since then. And then we started breaking down again this morning. Yeah, we started breaking down again this morning. And now, again, NASDAQ officially in correction territory. Looking weak. Under 24,000, another psychological aspect of it. It's under 24,000. Your inability to take care of a pool screams volumes about your ability to reason.
Dude, that's a low blow.
I know, dude. Like, what a random attack here, dude. Like, dude, they're trying to make it deeper than it is, bro. Listen, I didn't grow up with a pool, man. I didn't grow up with a pool.
You should just know.
Right, I should just know. I get it. And really, the people we bought this house, the pool guy got grandfathered in here. And so we feel bad letting him go.
The pool guy came with the house.
Right, he did,
I had to let go of my pool guy, but that's just because I don't have a pool.
Yeah.
I'm a little weird that he kept coming by,
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I love it when your life is so good, insults make you laugh. Yeah, it's just such a random one. And you can tell they're really trying to get it in there. But you can only laugh at it. It's okay. I'm not going to ban him yet. Fitch says that the risk that Israel scales up conflict is high. So what's your guys' plan today? What's you all's plan today? I almost said, what's you guys' plan today? Spending too much time around Canadians. Yeah. Again, the big story of the day is the NASDAQ is officially in correction territory. It really is a situation in which markets are going to be really nervous into today and into next week, especially with the rumors of more stuff going on over the weekend. I'm going to see if I can delve deeper into all this stuff. But again, the president extended power plant strikes another 10 days. Extended the pause to power plant and infrastructure strikes for another 10 days. 45-hour ultimatum, paused it for 5 days. Now it's paused for another 10 days. By the fear, yeah, the VIX today, which is a volatility index, and the VIX goes up when volatility and fear is high. Like the NASDAQ going down, VIX is going up. VIX is almost at $30. What was the last time the VIX was at 30 here? Last time the VIX was at 30 was on the 23rd, where I think we had more escalations over the weekend. It got as high as 31. The highest the VIX has been is right when this conflict started at early March. It got up to 35. But prior to that, the VIX hasn't really been anywhere near that since Liberation Day back in April, when all those tariffs were announced here. Yeah, but I'm seeing that China is responding to the summit getting delayed between both presidents with non-tariff retaliation. So since 2025, last year, most of China's retaliation has involved non-tariff actions. So essentially canceling orders, imposing market restrictions. Rare earths. I'm down big on some stocks. Yeah, there's big worries and everything here. Like if we really look like deeper into everything going on. There's private credit worries, software worries. What was it? Meta and another got hit with a lawsuit. And so one of the things dragging the market down right now is Meta. You look at Meta, guys. Meta dropped yesterday. The day before yesterday, it closed at $600. Meta's down to 540. 540s. So it was at 600. It's dropped down to 540s. That's a 10% drop for Meta. The Meta's dropped from $600 down to 540s, 10%. Since the day before yesterday's close. So Meta's down significantly. Not really helping things. Google is not doing the best either. Google opened up the day before yesterday at 292. It is now down to 278, so it is now down almost 5%. Didn't MU? Yeah, MU. Put this into perspective. MU on the 20th was at 450 basically for MU. So 450 for MU on the 20th. And I remember MU when it was like $90 a share. Now it's at 347 right now. The 347. So just to put this into perspective, MU is down 23%. Over the last week. So we're seeing tech stocks fall. MU is a chip producer. They're not, yeah, they're a storage and memory producer with chips. But yeah, they are jumping down. Yeah, so China today fired back and launched its own mirror investigations into U.S. trade practices, basically saying, you investigate us, we investigate you. This is after the Supreme Court struck down the president's IEEPA, the International Economic Emergency Powers Act tariffs. They struck them down in February, So now he's trying to find another legal path to his tariffs, and then he launched Section 301 investigation into China and 60 other countries in early March, which is his new tariff tool, and now China basically firing back. Yeah, it's basically a direct mirror of his 301 investigation. So they're basically saying, hey, you do this to us, we're going to do this to you. One of the reasons MU is down, we saw this other one. And MU down 23. Here, hold on, let me catch back up in the chat. Microsoft stuff is weird since they are Claude, right? Honestly, Claude is great. I can't stress how good Claude is. But yeah, Microsoft doesn't actually own Claude. MU is dirt cheap right here. Microsoft doesn't own Claude, but it does have a partnership with its creator, Anthropic. Yeah, and Microsoft is investing $5 billion into Claude. They kind of have a piece of a lot of different things here. VCX, there was no chance I was going to buy VCX. Again, we talked about VCX yesterday. VCX is wild. It gives people access to private companies like OpenAI and SpaceX and stuff like that. And so people got really optimistic, but a lot of people couldn't sell, so it forced this big squeeze up to 575. There's no chance I was buying it up there. It was super expensive versus what the value of their holdings actually were, or was, or is, I should say. And so the correction's not unexpected here. Super low float, squeeze dynamic here with VCX. What's going on? Yeah, so Google announced something called the Turbo Quant yesterday or the day before, which is an algorithm that uses compression to significantly reduce the amount of memory AI models need to run. So Micron's entire AI bull case, is markets are nervous around that. Their story has been AI needs massive amounts of memory. We sell memory, profit. But if Google just figured out how to use less memory for this stuff, that's bad. And Micron is down again 22+% in a week. Again, Meta yesterday was found guilty and negligent in a landmark social media addiction lawsuit. And it opens the door to potentially billions in liability here. If we look at Meta, down to 343s. And yeah, that's some of the stuff. Go ahead.
Specifically talking about the case in New Mexico, the $375 million fine.
Let me see. I have to see how much the fine was.
I think that's what it was. But I wonder how those cases are going to play out long term.
I think
they're definitely going to appeal.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of shaky ground to do it. I don't think they should have charged him with it personally. And I'm pretty much against, I don't think they should have won that lawsuit. Like, at a certain point, parents have to be accountable, And so, if you're letting your kid just sit on the internet constantly, that's your fault. Nobody else's fault,
Honestly, I agree.
Yeah, and I see it a lot with, video games. Video games have changed. Video games, at this point in time, video games, a lot of them, especially smartphone applications, smartphone games, they're designed to keep you pay to play. They want you to keep paying. And so what they'll do is they will get you involved. It'll be really fun. And then very subtly, they will increase the difficulty to near impossible levels and get you really frustrated. And then once you're really frustrated, they'll throw something out. They'll be like, hey, dude, you could pay $5 and skip all these levels and be a champion at whatever game you're playing. And that's really appealing. And so people are just burning money. They've programmed it in that way. Video games now, unfortunately, that are pay to play. And so, but, I do think at a certain point, people have to be accountable for themselves. And so
I think so too. Like you said, when they're young, I think it's more on the parents, but I think the person we're talking about in the New Mexico case, I might be wrong, is 20 years old now. And at a certain point, to some extent, I get it's hard to correct behavior and break addiction patterns, but at a certain point, it's also kind of on you as an adult.
Oh, absolutely. Right. And as a parent, you got to basically say, hey, you can't play any of these freaking games. Like, my son got involved with what he kept asking me for money. And eventually I was just like, whatever game. And I went upstairs, I saw whatever game he was playing. And I was like, you're not allowed to play that game anymore. You know, as soon as I identify that programming in it. I see it with MLB The Show. MLB The Show, I love video games, right? I played MLB The Show for a while. They'll give you the worst players, and then they'll be like, hey, you can buy Mike Trout. You know, you can buy Jacob DeGrom right now, dude. Here, you know, $100. And I'm just like, dude, I'm not paying $100 for a video game player. I can't do it. I can't do it. Speaking of baseball, the Astros lost their opening game. Oh, no, we suck again. No, I'm just joking, kind of.
Are you a fan?
I love the Astros, yeah. I haven't been keeping track of baseball as much because baseball is like a full-time job. There's so many games. I didn't watch preseason games or anything like that, but
I used to watch a little college baseball, never the pros.
I watch LSU. Yeah, like I'll watch LSU baseball, but
well, that's mostly what I meant. I just didn't want to sound too biased, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, but anyways, back to markets. Nasdaq 43,640 here. What do you guys like buying right here? Does anybody want to buy anything ahead of the weekend? I think with the stuff going on right now, there's risks. You know? I think there's risks right now. And I think it's obvious what the risks are, which is the risks are stuff happens over the weekend to escalate things. Markets continue dropping. Oil continues pushing up. And, yeah, I think there's risks. Nope, no buying for me. Or more troops on the ground. Yeah. And that's one of the big stories, too, is when are we going to start putting boots on the ground? I don't know. Next week, we got a lot of stuff, too. This week was very slow for economic reports, so we didn't really have a ton of economic stuff coming out this week. We had jobless claims yesterday. We had, like, the ADP, smaller ADP report Tuesday. But now it's kind of like a lot of this is just slow here. So we really don't have anything else. We have the Michigan consumer sentiment today at 10 a.m. Not a big report, but with the context of not a lot of stuff going on this week and markets nervous, maybe Michigan consumer sentiment will influence things. We will see what it looks like. But there's a possibility at 10 a.m. today we get some volatility. I'm not saying it's a high possibility, but there, we could. Yeah, the president's just been tweeting back and forth. I know he tweeted a lot yesterday. It looks like he hadn't tweeted in 13 hours. So that's good. I mean, I guess that's good. But yeah, markets
seems like a long time for him.
It really is. He's on there. He's on there. This year's good for buying dips. Yeah, we're officially in correction territory. The problem is if you think it's going to continue down. If we continue to get problems. Again, yields. And remember, yields and interest rates follow each other. This is one of the things I always try to reinforce on my stream. To understand bonds. When bond prices sell off, like if we look at bond prices here, yields go up. There's an inverse relationship with prices and yields. Why is there an inverse relationship? Well, supply and demand, when new bonds are issued at higher yields, previous bonds become less valuable in general. Because now you, like, if yields are 4% when you bought your bond and now they're 4.5%, the new bonds are paying more, so you got to lower the price of your previous bonds to compensate for it and to balance it out. Just supply and demand. And so you can see bond prices. Here's longer term bond prices, like 20+ year ETF bond prices down. And again, if we look at like the 10-year treasury yields are up to almost 4.5% in today. Here's a 5-day chart. You can kind of see the increase in yields. And this is interest rate sentiment. Okay, so yields going up, higher interest rate sentiment. Less potential rate cuts with the war extending. No end in sight as of now, and that's what's making people nervous here. And the elevated oil prices causing inflation fears, which means the Fed has less of a green light to cut interest rates. Micro strategy or strategy. I know it's called strategy now. I don't know. Is anybody interested in buying Stretch? What does Stretch pay out? Isn't it like 11.5%? I know it was for Stretch. That's what is it? STRC. Yeah, and their job is to keep this paying those yields to keep it close to as close to $100 as they can. And it apparently pays out like 11%, 11.5% annually. I'm not 100% sure, and again, I'm not an investment professional, but micro tragedy. Definitely going to keep headed down, keeps dragging out higher oil prices. Yeah, and the longer this conflict goes on, the more we're going to have trouble getting things back to normal when that time comes as well, right? So the longer this conflict drags on, the longer it's going to take to get everything back to normal. We will see what happens here. Yeah. Yields are up to 2-year yields right around 4%, 30-year yields almost at 5%. Energy is the only S&P sector green this month. I think we've had like multiple red weeks in a row. I'll have to check. The conflict started almost a month ago. Yeah, Google's Turbo Quant suggesting you might not need as much hardware as everybody thought. I'm sure memory stocks are going to be fading down. What's SanDisk at? Yeah, SanDisk is starting to correct down from almost $800 to now at $580s. So SanDisk, since these memory woes, and memory was the hot sector like a month ago. So SanDisk has gone from almost 780, basically 780, all the way down to 580s right now. So just percentage-wise, SanDisk is down 25%. 25%. I'll be full porting strategy under 100, ideally 50 to 75. I have 100% of my cash in stretch. Beats money market funds. Oh, it easily beats it like double, basically. So, what are yields paying right now? Yields are paying 4.5%, basically, right now. For 10-year, 2-year yields are right around 4%. So 11%. You know, it's obviously a little riskier, but if you believe in crypto, I'm not mad. Futures are rising a little bit here. Again, NASDAQ officially in correction territory, but a small rebound is not unexpected. All right, so, and again, we don't really have any economic data today outside of yeah, join our Discord. We don't have any economic data outside of Michigan consumer sentiment data. But yeah, if you want to join our Discord, it's completely free. I'll put the link up here. Great way to help support us. So you can reach out to us. I've also been trying to be more active there. Here's the link right there. Check it out. Make sure that link works. If anybody wants to try that link and tell me if it works, let me know. Coffee, peace, and love from New York City. Hey, what's up, brother? Good morning. I've already got my most controversial comments out the way. Controversial? Is that how the British say it? Or no, wait, you're Italian. Sorry. It works, John? Okay, I got it. It does work. Okay, thank you, guys. Yeah, we do have Warsh stepping in from the Federal Reserve in May. So Jerome Powell steps down. He might stay on as governor. He hasn't really confirmed either way that decision. But Warsh, a much more dovish, in a lot of people's minds, Federal Reserve chairman, is going to be stepping in May. Bro, you rock. Thank you for your streams. Hey, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I would say Jay Powell's kind of balanced. That people hate him. It's really political. I'm neutral on all of it. I would say he is balanced. He cut rates 3 times last year. He cut rates 3 times the year before. And so yeah, I think Meta, Microsoft, people are just nervous about them. Meta's down a big percentage. Nasdaq's starting to fight higher here, though. Al's not stepping down until the investigation is over. Yeah, well, we got a judge that rejected the subpoena, basically. I think they're going to appeal it, though. But I think it's a little bit... It's unlikely they're going to... It's unlikely they're going to win. It's very unlikely that he gets officially, you know... Are you shorting this relief rally? Al for president? I don't know if we're going that far with it. Solid February, go away until May. Yeah, that's a very common story. If we look at, I mean, this is all obviously got a lot to do with the conflict going on. But if you look at the average month for S&P 500 percentages, I think I phrased that very wrong. But if we look at the average here, here's one. This is from the Motley Fool. February is generally a red month. Generally. So February is generally a red month. If we look at this. So here's February. March is generally green. April's generally green. May is generally red. September's very red. The holiday months are usually much better. And the summer months are usually okay too. So as you can see, most of the time the markets are green. Now there's a lot of different versions of this though. But in general, what we see is that February is generally slightly red. March is actually pretty green. April's pretty green. May is somewhat green. September's the worst month by far. Worst month by far. They call it the September slump. So a lot of the time markets will come back down in September. But again, this is kind of a different conflict here. Or this is a different reason, a different... this has to do with just geopolitical stuff. Are we close to correction territory? The NASDAQ is technically in correction territory. The NASDAQ is now down from its highs 10.5%. So the NASDAQ is down 10.5% from its highs. So that is officially a correction. S&P is about 8% down. And so we'll watch that today to see if the S&P enters correction territory. I think the Dow is down. It's like 9.5%. So the Dow is very close. If I remember correct. Right. The Dow is very close to a correction as well. Dow highs are 50,600. They hit it in late February. Sorry, I'm looking at the text. But yeah, so the Dow highs were at 5060 or 50,611. The Dow is now down at what, 46,000? So the Dow from its highs is down 9+%, over 9%. So the Dow is getting very close to the correction too. Yeah, Meta's down on a percentage basis. Meta's down a lot. If we look at Meta from its highs in August, Meta was at 796 in August. It's now down to 547. That is a 31+% drop for Meta since its highs in August. If we just look at Meta, we looked at this earlier. If we put like a 5-minute chart up here and we look at Meta just since yesterday, Meta's down, I think 10%. So 580s at the open yesterday morning. It's now at 544. So Meta is down. Okay, 6.5%. Sorry. If I put a longer term chart, maybe it's a 10 chart. I was like, yeah, 10 days ago, Meta was at 637s.
You think it'll recover, or do you think it'll take a little while, and like in terms of finding out a little bit more about how the lawsuits are progressing against them?
I think it'll recover, but it might take some time. I think Meta is decently diversified. They own WhatsApp, they own Instagram, they own Facebook, which Marketplace and other stuff on Facebook is taking off and has been for the last few years. They do have their own AI system, specifically with smart glasses. You know, they have, like, I think it's called their Llama system for AI. So, you know, they're diversified, but the lawsuit isn't good, obviously, and the rest of the market's already nervous from the conflict going on right now. Long term, I still think they're going to be okay, but you don't know where it's going to go short, is my logic here. Now, maybe you could say there's value where it's at now, and that's true. There could be value here. But I think the context of everything going on right now with the conflict and more rumors of force escalation this weekend, and next week we got a whole bunch of economic data. We got another payroll report, and more. I don't think it's risk free. I don't think it's risk. What I'm gonna say. So I'm not an investment professional, guys. You guys know me. Not liable if you lose money. Yeah, I saw that Davo. Meta gonna come back before a year or two. It was 100. Yeah, I remember when it was 100, and honestly, I didn't like it at 100. This was at a time where Facebook was losing interest. And yeah, it's just I regret not buying it at $90 a couple years ago. You know, it dropped down to $90 for Meta specifically, but it was very, very specific. It dropped down this much because they went big into the metaverse, which got really, like, everybody was all hyped up about the metaverse. I didn't really buy it. I just didn't freaking buy it. I knew people that were buying up digital land and different metaverses. The problem is that there were too many different metaverses that people were saying were going to be big, and people were selling quote unquote real estate in all of these different metaverses, and people were spending thousands of dollars on metaverse land when there wasn't even like an alpha metaverse that everybody used. I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. And that whole thing faded off pretty quickly. Meta ended up announcing that they lost $10 billion in the metaverse, and that's actually when it dropped back down in 2022 to under $100 here.
I'm gonna sound like a rube, but I never even heard of that. What was the concept behind all that?
The metaverse was basically like Ready Player One.
Oh.
Kind of like it was a digital world. There were blockchain games, and there still are blockchain games. But it was basically just a digital world where, you know, people were gonna live. Like, they had Snoop Dogg buying houses. I don't know what he calls himself now, but he was buying houses, and people were trying to be his neighbor, and so they were speculating on land there. It's kind of speculation like everything else. But yeah,
Sounds like a pretty wild concept.
it is a wild concept, honestly. And eventually we will have something like this, but it was too early, and too early is the same thing as being wrong. Right? It was way too early. It was at least, I mean, virtual reality has progressed. And to be fair, Mark Zuckerberg has built that industry up. Virtual reality is very good right now. And that's going to continue getting better. But he was just too early. He was just simply too early in those type of concepts. And it also suffered from crypto, you know, NFTs were what they were selling the land with. And NFTs had their moment in the sun, and then they crashed down. Like, a lot of influencers and celebrities were paying for these NFTs, and then the NFT market just cratered down. It's basically non-existent now. And that negatively affected everything. What Meta ended up doing, though, to kind of get involved with this, number one, they started getting involved with AI. And AI had a big bull run the last few years, obviously. He started producing smart glasses. The Meta Quest, or the Oculus Quest, you know, started really succeeding. They bought Oculus. They started doing things there. And I don't know if that timeline is exactly right. I might be misrepresenting some of that timeline. But yeah, they started just pivoting away from NFT metaverse stuff and into other areas. And that did them really well. And yeah, now they're back up to 540s. The problem is, like, I haven't heard a lot about their Llama AI systems as much recently. I think right now they're trying to use it the most for, like, smart glasses. And I think that's a big industry. And, you know, that's going to be a big industry as well. So we'll see what Meta does. I think long term, they're still going to be fine. Short term.
Thanks for the explanation. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I'm interested in the smart glasses, though. That seems like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah. And it's gotten a lot better, too. They used to be really, really bulky and kind of obvious that somebody's wearing them. And now they're not so much. Now it's a little bit more, you know, a little bit more hidden now, which I think is the
Low
point.
profile.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so the ECB member Dalek is saying the ECB baseline may no longer be realistic. The commission sees the longer conflict cutting 0.4 to 0.6 percentage points off of growth. It's the longer conflict pushing inflation 1.1 to 1.5% higher here. So, yeah, nervous. Markets are nervous. It is now 8 o'clock in the morning here. Is it time to buy the NASDAQ, guys? I haven't done a poll yet. I have not done a poll. Yeah, Instagram huge. Let's do a poll. Is it time to buy the Nasdaq? Is it time to buy the Nasdaq 100, guys? Yes or no? Vote on the poll. I mean, it's fine popping. The Nasdaq's not really popping. What market are you talking about? Nasdaq is it had a little exhaustion bounce. Yeah, it had a little exhaustion bounce, but still getting pretty close to these lows, and I'm not necessarily interested in buying it. We had the Mexican jobless rate show up at 2.6%. Previously, it was 2.7%. Yeah, I see the attacks news. Okay, so 65% say no, 33% say yes. Time to buy the Nasdaq. 36% say yes, 64% say no. You can vote on the poll. Let's see what this shows. Good DCA moment. 10-year yields going over 4.5% is the perfect time to go all in. My honest opinion. And the Nasdaq? I don't know about that. We're about 60-40. No, it's not time to buy the Nasdaq. So bears are leading 64 right now. You're thinking tomorrow gains are years away? Both. Yeah, it's just both. Yeah, oil, guys, obviously still elevated. WTI crude is getting close to 97. Now, if we look at this here, the highest it's really been for WTI crude was 120 back when this conflict first started. But since then, let me put like a chart up. Yeah, it got up to almost 120s. Obviously, oil at $100 is for WTI crude is the level. You know, $100 for WTI crude is the big level that most people are going to have on their charts. We could also look at Brent right now, which is kind of worldwide standard of oil. It's over 110s right now for Brent crude. So Brent crude is over 110s. I'm showing right now Brent is at 110.77. Look, here's 110.77s for Brent crude. So still a premium for global oil. Oh no, we dump again. I love a good Waterboy quote, you know. That's the entire point of dollar cost averaging. Yeah, dollar cost averaging is a way to curb volatility. Dollar cost averaging, and I might be off on my definition. I'm pretty sure this is right, though. Dollar cost averaging is where you take periodic buys regardless of price in specific time interval. So that's like saying, hey, every week I'm going to buy 50 shares of X ETF or whatever, X index, or 10 shares of X index. And over time, what that does is curb volatility. It just allows you to accumulate positions, you know. And I think that's the smart. I mean, that's how the pros do it. They dollar cost average in the thing. So long term, you're almost guaranteed to make money. And when I say long term, again, I'm meaning decades. Short term, things can get a little bit riskier, obviously. It's one of the things the banks do, right? I explained this the other day, but what banks do when they pay you, you know, CDs, when they pay you, you know, whatever they're using, they're paying, whatever vehicle you want to reference, what they're usually doing is they're taking people's money and they're investing it long term, and they're sitting on that risk long term because that's very easy money for them, usually. And then they're taking, like, say they make 10-15% long term using other people's money, and then they're going to take that and they're going to say, hey, if you let us sit on your money for X amount, we'll pay you 5%, 4.5%, 3%, whatever their CD rates are, whatever bond yields are. They'll say, hey, we'll pay you X amount, and then they're going to pocket the difference, right? Because long term, if you're willing to hold it long term, it's great. Generally, you're very safe long term markets. Nothing's 100%, you know, safe, obviously. But even if you look at, like, here's the S&P 500. It's got a very consistent trend, very consistent. Back in 1975, the S&P 500 was $65. Today, it is $6,500. So But again, you get big peaks and crashes. So that's how it goes. You gotta, people who lose the most are usually people that get emotional and sell. But even on a weekly chart, you can see this correction in the S&P. And it hasn't opened for futures yet, or open for market hours yet. Yeah, gold, very similar trend. Gold long term has obviously done really well. And gold is back up to almost 4,500 here. Rebounded a little bit from its lows earlier this week where it hit 4,100, but it's kind of been flat. It's putting in somewhat higher numbers. Yeah, what's up, Femi? Hey, I still got to email you my stuff, brother. My bad, dude. But yeah, I got to talk to Femi. Former NFL player. Shout out to Femi in the chat.
What's silver looking like today?
Silver is at 67s, which a lot of people are going to be unhappy about. Yeah, silver just went up so much in the last year. Silver, or go ahead.
I wasn't saying anything. I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah. Silver's just been volatile. Like silver went up to 120s, is back down almost 50%. It's just been volatile. A lot of stuff on the supply and demand side for silver, influencing it. Margin requirements, volatility. We've had a crazy, honestly, it's been kind of wild. The last 2 months of market activity, 2 or 3 months. When did the silver thing start? Yeah, since the end of January, dude, we've had craziness. Silver swings have been wild. Gold swings have been wild. Oil swings have obviously been wild. We got the conflict started and more. We've had shutdowns left and right. They finally resolved the DHS shutdown, it's looking like, which is less impactful over markets. But the last couple months, dude, it has been kind of crazy in terms of shutdowns and markets and fears and silver and gold. All right, so the Iraqi Ministry of Oil says that most oil activities and projects are suspended due to the reality imposed by the conflict, according to Al Jazeera. So buying virtual real estate doesn't sound too bad if you have some spare money. I'm not buying virtual real estate right now. Doesn't sound good. No. Like, you got to think about the NFT market and what happened to it. And the question is it too early? You know, too early is the same thing as being wrong. Ask Michael Burry that. Speaking of Michael Burry, we actually had Burry comment on some things, I think, this morning, if I remember correctly. So Burry says that the conflicts decisions are being driven by something other than foreign policy. He called the stock market Trump's... I'm just quoting Burry here, but he called it, quote-unquote, Trump's kryptonite, saying his strategy is just get out before the market crashes too much. Shame that Americans... he's critical of the conflict, basically. I'm reading, the reason Burry's claim matters to everyday households is simple. When energy shocks mingle with persistent inflation and higher interest rates, consumer budgets tighten. Yeah, I mean, consumers are going to be the ones that are paying more money for stuff. Looking at our poll, 58% say no, it's not time to buy. 42% still think it's time to buy the NASDAQ here. But the NASDAQ's getting very close to lows again here this morning, guys. NASDAQ down to 23,615. The lows are 23,608. The last time we hit these lows, just to put this into perspective here, it has been... Wow, has it been this long? It has been since September. Was the last time we were down here on the NASDAQ. Since September, it's looking like the NASDAQ is about to break lows right now. Looking like the NASDAQ is about to break lows right now. Again, if you use my coupon codes, we have a new universal one. It is BGT for all of them. BGT for all of them. If you want to use my coupon codes on any prop firms, Apex, Lucid, Take Profit, Tradeify, you know, you can use coupon code BGT. Let me know what you guys think the abbreviation stands for outside of beginner trading. Let me know. All I got was that Burry hates poetry. Oh, yeah. One of my favorite quotes, honestly, from the movie The Big Short. The truth is like poetry, and most people effing hate poetry. uh, great quote, honestly. If you stay around long enough, you'll hear me repeat it. Murray's Got Talent. I like it. Again, oil surging here, guys. Look at it. The Nasdaq's really close to lows, though. Baby gangster trading. Butt guy. The insults are coming. That's okay. I think I set myself up for it. Bro gonna trade? Okay. Nvidia cracks below 165. Yeah, Nvidia, you know, I think what we're seeing now is a signal that the AI big bull run, at least short term, has slowed. You know, Nvidia hasn't really trended higher since August of last year. So you can see Nvidia's chart here. Look at Nvidia. It's mostly been sideways for months and months and months now. Months. We're honestly heading into a year of sideways action for Nvidia. It's had optimism, it's had pessimism, but it hasn't really gone anywhere in a long time, since August of last year. So
You see that pattern breaking anytime soon?
I'm bullish on Nvidia. Nvidia produces microchips, and regardless of what AI system you use, you probably need Nvidia chips. Kind of need or wants Nvidia chips. There's recently like stuff about like smuggling of Nvidia chips overseas and stuff like that from Supermicro founder and more. So Nvidia is, I'm bullish in Nvidia, but you know, it's not risk free like everything else. And if Nvidia starts to break down under this range, obviously I think could get some sell-offs occurring. Again, the bottom of the range on Nvidia I think is like 160. 160 the last bottom that we see back in August or early September. I mean, so 160. You know, I think 160 might be able to round down to that, see if it breaks down under that. But right now, I really want to see. Go ahead.
Okay. I was just kind of wondering what the odds are that it's going to go up. I mean, I don't think it'll go down necessarily, just because, like you talked about, it's pretty ubiquitous, you know. But in terms of the product, but I kind of wonder if it'll break pattern and go up at some point.
Well, it could go down. You know, Nvidia is the most heavily weighted stock in the stock market, right? So you have all these major indices. You have like the S&P 500, 500 of the largest stocks in the world. You have the Nasdaq 100, 100 of the largest stocks in the world. You have the Dow 30 stocks. You got the Russell, which is small caps. But Nvidia, with most of those, is the most heavily weighted stock in them. Most of those, especially the S&P and the Nasdaq. And so when the market's struggling, Nvidia's going down with it basically, and vice versa. Really, it's vice versa, but leaf rally. Yeah, we got this little bounce back higher here. I'm really tempted to short this in futures, to be honest. I'm really tempted to short it in futures. I will pull my funded account up. One of them. Maybe try to short this. I think we're close enough to the lows. We're going to start small here, guys. We're going to trade it like a baby here. And this is a Lucid funded account. We're going to trade it like a baby and then add to it if it goes in my... But I think we're close enough to these lows where maybe we can start to flush down momentum up. And if it doesn't, it's a very trade. And I think that's the only right way to handle it. If we didn't have the war, Nvidia's probably at 185 to 190. That's probably true. Maybe over 200. You know, Nvidia had good earnings and BDPS revenue guidance, raised guidance. But a trend we're seeing is just markets are incredibly strict. Nvidia and other earnings. Saw it a lot. Be green team. Yeah. Green team. I'm going to sit here. We're so close to these lows, although we are in a high volume area right here, but it's such a small trade we can play with. I was just saying in Discord, I wouldn't be trying to see a zombie rally today with overall sentiment being as bearish as it is. Yeah, it is Friday, guys. Y'all just be careful. Brent crude has now hit $111 a barrel right now. The Brent crude is now at $111 a barrel. The NASDAQ now is in correction territory with its 5th straight losing week. And we'll give this a second here, but I will cut it first here. I can be a little bit more loose. Micro. Yeah, Bitcoin, it's alive, but it's struggling. It's at 6,000, or it's at 66,600. I don't know if that's a good optimistic price either way, you know. Meta, Microsoft, Google keep dropping, then CapEx that will affect Nvidia sales. Yeah, but markets have even reacted negatively to super high CapEx, which is capital expenditures. Markets have not liked high CapEx this earnings. So kind of a bad as bad and a good as bad scenario. I think neither one of them makes people optimistic. We did get news today that multiple ships have been ordered to abort transit of the Strait of Hormuz. 2 COSCO ULCCs, CSCL Indian Ocean and CSCL Arctic Ocean U-turned after the IRGC refused safe passage just days after COSCO COSCO resumed new bookings for standard containers to UAE, Saudi, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, and Iraq. Both vessels had G2G approval. All right, so I'm probably going to cut this. We'll let 650 be my risk level here. About a 1-to-1 risk versus these lows. But, yeah, we're just going to cut it right there. We might consolidate for a little while before. Yeah, we have all this volume profile right here. So we had a green day yesterday. We'll see if we get in this week on Friday green now. But, it's been an interesting market, it really has. Efficient markets, all known info is priced in. Yeah, I mean, maybe. People always like to, a lot of people like to gamble on earnings. They'll take big positions ahead of them and wait for their earnings to get released. And then if a company has good EPS, good revenue, and good guidance, but then falls, people tend to complain and say, oh, well, this is manipulation. And it's not really manipulation. It's just markets, like, outcomes are already baked in. Like, Nvidia beating earning, raising guidance is not really the contrarian outlook most people expected. I think prior to Nvidia earnings, as an example, Polymarket and other betting markets had it like 96% chance Nvidia beat. When most of the market expects it, sometimes you get profit taken when the actual outcome happens. It's one of the reasons I always tell people I wish markets were as easy sitting around waiting for a company to report good EPS, revenue, raise guidance, and just click buy and make money. I wish it was that easy. Everybody would be rich if it was. So unfortunately, the market's more efficient than that, and things are already priced in that way, if that makes sense. Get other moves, contrarian moves that happen like that.
Seeing kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy type thing.
Yeah, well, it's kind of, but it's kind of the opposite. It's just that's what people expect, and people are just getting baked into the most likely outcome, right? There's something called the wisdom of the crowd, right? So, like, when you have everybody making different speculations on things, there can be some accuracy to it. And so generally, again, in statistics, it's called the wisdom of the crowd, and you see it a lot with betting markets right now. In that market, I don't know what those markets are going to look like. Odds makers and stuff like that, like Polymarket, Kalshi. I've heard that I heard they're all over those markets right now. Enforcement is all over those markets. But that I do think those markets are the future. And I think they're bringing in enough money, most likely at this point in time, to where they're going to have some resilience, even that type of stuff.
Well, my mistake. I must have misheard.
No, you're good. You're good. Self-fulfilling prophecy is like so many people, like if everybody thinks the market's going to bounce. Look at this drop. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah, the IRGC says the Strait of Hormuz is closed, and any transit through the waterway will face harsh measures. 3 container ships of various nationalities were turned back from the Strait. Yeah, this is the news we just talked about 5 minutes ago. I don't know if markets are just digesting this, but we did get a big turnaround here.
When was that statement put out? If you don't mind me asking.
I'm showing it was first reported about 5 minutes ago, but sometimes they do repeat different. Sometimes they do keep posting about it. You know what I mean? So like, there's a chance it came out earlier, but I am showing about 5 minutes ago we got the news that multiple ships from different. Dude, hey bud, love you, dude. Yeah, I'm showing. It came out about 5 minutes ago. Markets could be delayed reacting to it. I don't know. Nasdaq at 23,630s here. That's my conscience, J-Rod. Wants to go escort ships. I'll stand there with like a red flag and I believe I can take him.
You have my moral support. You know.
I believe that. I really believe that. Yeah, we're at 59% of you guys think it's not time to buy the Nasdaq 100. I think we're too close to lows. I kind of want to short this again. Oh wait. Bitcoin again. I woke up this morning, looked at Bitcoin, had to refresh my screen. I thought it was over 70. That was 66.5s for Bitcoin. Back down here. Markets are fearful. Markets are fearful. Internet party time. Bitcoin gave up during the Europe session. Yeah, I mean, look, we can put up like a 5-minute chart here. Bitcoin's been dropping. Always revert it. But yeah, so Bitcoin's been dropping basically. Mostly dropping. Yeah, Bitcoin. Yeah, there's real fears right now in all markets acting Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin wants easing too, so with higher yields, Bitcoin's not going to be loving it right now because, you know, it wants more easing, more stimulation in terms of the Federal Reserve, and higher inflation from oil premium from the conflict causes more skepticism and less potential rate cuts. That could be the story with Bitcoin. Yeah, there's a couple things. Ground troops are closer to getting put on the air. So the Pentagon apparently is preparing to send about 3,000 troops. Military experts say the troop numbers are consistent with, quote, discrete and time-limited operations, not a full invasion, but potential Park Island, seizure, or Hormuz clearing. And Iran has been threatening retaliation. Israel's been escalating. 2,000 ships stranded and 20,000 seafarers are stranded in the strait. So we'll see what happens this week. Weekends have been the most dangerous period of this entire conflict. February 28th happened on a Saturday. The 48-hour ultimatum was last Saturday, and now we're heading into the weekend again. So I don't think weekends are necessarily safe here.
Maybe they're just trying to mess people's weekends up. You know,
Yeah.
just give you something to stress about. You know, on your time off.
Yeah, no, 100%. I bet anyone with 10,000 ounces of gold would not be here right now. 10,000 ounces? Yeah, I mean, probably right. Gold's still at $4,500 now. Anybody with $45 million? I just did the math. $45 million.
I wouldn't be here.
I wouldn't be here either, dude. I'm not sitting here and talking to you guys if I got 45 million. You know, there was an investor who made 100 million in trading meme coins, and instead of walking away, he kept pushing it, and he lost it all. I'm sitting there like, dude,
God.
100 million, bro. Give it to me. I will walk away right now. Y'all never see me again. $100 million, dude.
Yeah, like, how much do you need?
Why would I? Right. I'm gonna be on the beach drinking margaritas. You know? Like $45 million. Heck, give me 20. You won't see me again. You know? Anybody that wants to step up and you know, I'm here. I'm here, guys.
I'd become a rich hermit.
Yeah. I get it. I get it. I always try to explain to people this. Look, you got $45 million here. You can hold gold. Gold's fine. I'm not going to keep it all in gold. That's silly. You take half of this and you stick it in, 20, you take half of this and you stick it in yields. You're going to be earning, wait. Let me 1.5. You're going to earn 4.5%. Yeah, yields are elevated, but let's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In 10 years, you're going to turn that 25 or 22 whatever million into 35 million. And 20 going to be over 50 million just in yields if we can include compounding, which is a little bit, gold's still going to do well. So you can take half of it, stick it in yields, and be rich for the rest of your life. You put $22 million in yields. Let's just call it 3.5%. You're going to make almost $1 million a year, $800,000 a year. And then you can do whatever you want with it. Not do whatever you want, but then you have another $22.5 million to live off of.
I mean, honestly, you would make so much off the interest, even if it was like a low interest account. You could just live off of that.
No, you really could. Yeah, nobody needs more than $800,000 a year, really, especially if you got another 22 million plus lump sum.
Yeah,
45 million is definitely enough to be rich for your life. The way you'd have to do it though is I wouldn't even put that much in yields. Or in bonds. I'd put like a quarter of it in bonds, a quarter of it in the S&P 500, a quarter of it, and a little bit riskier things, crypto, gold. Maybe I buy a little bit more gold actually, but you just create a portfolio diversified into all those different things, and you're going to be good forever, basically.
Also, with that much money, I'd try to break into real estate development. I mean, like raw land,
Yeah. No, there's, diversify it. 45 million, I would still work. 800,000 after taxes. It depends on which state you live in. I'm in Texas though. For $1 million, you can get like a 5,000 plus square foot home in Texas. So it depends on where you live. In Cali or New York, it's going to be a different thing. It's still going to be set up really to live very well. But it's relative to where. Anyways, Nasdaq's basically going sideways right now. I've been building myself a Hobbit home if I had millions.
Hobbit home would be awesome. Those
Yeah.
things are so cool.
Right. I'd live in a Hobbit home.
They're awesome. I mean, maybe I'm a little bit of a Lord of the Rings nerd, but they're still awesome.
Yeah. I like Lord of the Rings too. I grew up on Lord. I saw the first couple in theater came out.
Oh, me too.
I remember I was complaining. I was like, I don't want to go see Lord of the Rings to my parents. And I went and saw it. I was like, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen. It's still
It
up
holds
there
up.
too. Yeah, it does. All right, guys. So yeah, Nasdaq sideways right now. Yeah, I like Dragon Ball too.
Someone says the anime is better. I haven't seen I think it's the War of the Rohirrim. I haven't seen that, but I heard it is really good.
We are at 55% of you think it's not time to buy the Nasdaq. Although I'm seeing the bulls start to rise a little bit. The 2-year yield is over 4.04. Means that the annual rate that they're paying you to hold 2-year treasuries is that. All right, so there's 8:30, and again, we don't really have any news briefs coming out today, but we do have Michigan data at 10 a.m. We do have Michigan data at 10. We got retail inventories. I think it's scheduled to come out for February. We have, but I'm not even sure that's out. Yeah, compounding to 1 million calculator in 20 years. Yeah. Redo the poll at 9 and see if it changes. Yeah, it probably will, you know. But Robinhood is at $68. Yeah, they've had a tough time recently. Dude, I think they're just getting negatively affected by the cryptos. So, they had a big bull run in 2025, got up to 150s, but this didn't really hold. Now back to 70s. Crypto bumps that we're seeing.
You think it'd be a good time to buy Robinhood, or not necessarily?
I personally like Robinhood. It just depends on what you think crypto is going to do as well. But I like Robinhood. I used to not. Robinhood has had some swings over the past 6-7 years. You know, Robinhood was the ones deeply involved in the GameStop fiasco, where they limited selling, or they limited buying of GameStop and allowed only selling, and a lot of the markets turned against it. They've had a little bit of a resurgence back in public perception, though, recently. They're expanding their platform a lot, so their platform's getting better and better. So figured it out. Your mic keeps cutting out when you're looking at your top monitor. Yeah, this thing's up there. Yeah, so we have EU's Dombrovskis saying any national response to higher energy prices must be targeted, temporary, and not boost demand for oil and gas and continue to decarbonize the economy. But we are now officially in correction territory on the NASDAQ here, guys. Here's the NASDAQ. And we are officially now in correction territory. Also, guys, if you've been using my link on Lucid, my code is now different. My code is now BGT. BGT. My new code. We consolidated all of them. But if you want to check out Lucid, it's a great way to help support the channel. There's no PDT rule. Lucid gives you a demo. They test your skill with it. What Lucid is really good is direct-to-funded options. The direct-to-funded options in Lucid are very good. We're going to be giving away one Lucid account today. We're going to be giving away one Take Profit account as well. So we'll be giving away a couple different accounts today. Gonna be a little bit later towards the open, but we are going to be giving away some accounts today. But if you want to check out Lucid, a great way to help support the channel, we appreciate it. Again, we'll put this link up. We'll pin it to the top of the chat. But Lucid paid out over 60 million traders. Average payout time is 15 minutes. 90-10 split. No payout windows. Clear and simple rules. 10-to-1 micro scaling. End of day drawdown option, or end of day drawdowns. Just really useful. Really useful. Again, they're Lucid Direct. You can go direct to funded for $238. Again, coupon code BGT at checkout is the new coupon code that I have for all of them. So you can use coupon code BGT for Apex, Take Profit, Lucid, Tradeify. So here's the link. You want to check it out. Great way to help support the channel. That's my first plug all day. We've been streaming for well over an hour. You're welcome. Keeping the chat kind of bug free. You can also check it out pinned at the top of the chat now. I'm on Robinhood. I'm still up 12%. Just started trading last year. Bear market is 20% plus. Red Fridays. Market is bloody. Yeah, it's a scary market, and the NASDAQ is getting close here. I should have stayed in this position. NASDAQ is getting close. It's at 23,623s. Ready for the NASDAQ to break that level. Also, guys, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. If you hit the notification bell, you'll get an alert every time we go live. Every single time we go live, you'll get an alert. And so if you haven't already, do it now. Anyone own Palantir? Okay, so hold on. NASDAQ is just now flushing close to the lows again. NASDAQ is down to 615s. Lows of the day and lows of the last while are 23,608.25 on the NASDAQ here. So we're getting very close to cracking this low. Fear is definitely hitting the markets, yeah. And I see people mentioning Palantir. Palantir, I would assume Palantir's, I'm going to hurry up and look at Palantir. I would assume they're doing okay with the conflicts, contracts, but they're even breaking down too. All right, here's the NASDAQ. Yeah, the NASDAQ's still holding support around this low. So let's see if the breakdown continues. But again, the NASDAQ is officially in correction territory. It's on its 5th straight losing week. It's down over 10% from its highs. Let's see if this fear continues here, man. Lows of the year. All right. Yeah, this is definitely lows of the year. NASDAQ officially in correction territory. 23,608. The new low of the year. What does correction territory mean? The correction territory means we're down over 10%. S&P's close to that. The Dow is over 9% down. The NASDAQ is over 10%. It's like 10.5 or so percent down relative to its highs at, I believe the highs on the NASDAQ were 26,400 roughly. It's now at 23,600. So it's down over 10% now for the NASDAQ. NASDAQ's a little bit more tech heavy, so it's going to deal with swings a little bit more. It's going to be a little bit more range, have a larger range with stuff like this, especially with drops since, you know, the Mag 7, the most influential stocks are tech stocks and NASDAQ's tech heavy. I think we go at least 7 to 8% lower on the S&P before we see a bottom. Market usually corrects itself at these low levels. Jack Johnson, I'm just going to imagine you are the Jack Johnson, you know. My daughter likes Jack Johnson a lot. Is a 50% correction out of the picture? 50% is a lot. It's not out of the picture. Anything's possible. I don't know if it's probable, but it could happen. All right, guys, here we go. Here's another test of this low. NASDAQ back down to 615s here. It's getting very close. On the NASDAQ, we are getting very close. Mike Jones? Who? Not oil, though. Oil's up. Yeah, oil's going to be elevated right now. Brent crude again. Just about 111 for Brent crude. Do you brew your own coffee? What do you mean? Am I like a coffee nerd that brews my own coffee? And no, I'm not. Old school coffee. Hot. Pretty sure this is community coffee. It's like king cake coffee is pretty sure. Mike Jones, the one and only. Can't clone me. Yeah, I can't drink cold coffee. That's for crazy people.
Oh, dude, I love iced coffee. What's wrong with you?
I don't know if it just feels stronger when I drink cold coffee, but every time I drink it, it's just a little bit strong.
I like both, but if I'm in the mood, I really like iced coffee.
Yeah. So we just got Rubio. He reiterated at a G7 that the president is committed to reaching a ceasefire, negotiated settlement to Russia-Ukraine as soon as possible. Outside of that, we do have Michigan consumer sentiment going live again at 10 a.m. today. 10 a.m. Some friends and some phony. Or some phonies back then, they didn't want me. Listen, we can keep going here with the Mike Jones quotes. That's my era.
They're all on me.
Yeah, that's right. That's my generation. Everybody knows. You know, I was listening to Tipping on 4/4s with my son yesterday. Fofos. Okay. I was listening to it. Jack's sitting there. You know, I tried to put on some Carter 2, Lil Wayne, and I think there's just too much. There's too much cursing in it. My son was like, "Hey, let's turn this off." But he liked Mike Jones though.
That's because he's a good kid.
He's a good kid. He really is. He's a good kid. Honestly, I've never heard my son curse except for the one time I gave him a hall pass with it. Only time. And I remember in preschool, my parents got mad at me for cursing, you know? And so he's doing better than I was. Shout out to my son. Good kid. Maddie's a good kid too. Uh,
Uh-huh.
Maddie cries all the time. She looks at baby pictures of Jack and just cries. You know, like when I hurt my knee and I had crutches for like a couple weeks, just me crutching for a little while would make her cry. Like just a good good kid. A lot of empathy. A lot of empathy. I'd rather her be
Matt is a
super
very
empathetic.
sweet person.
Yeah. Uh, what was his hall
Also,
password? Oh, dude. I think it was I told him he could say one, and I was like, "Don't tell your mom." He asked me. He was like, "Dad, can I say one? Say one." And I was like, his mom went around, and I was like, you know what? I'll go ahead and allow this. I was curious of what he would say. I thought he was gonna say something crazy, and I think he just said like BS or something, you know. So,
very entry level.
yeah, kind of amateur curse words, which is fine, which is fine.
Also, I like Maddie crying, but you like entering the room to sad music when you were hurt.
Yeah, no, I really would. I'd go put sad music on in the corner. You know that song? It's like a TikTok song. It was like, "You gave me life." I can't remember how it goes. I would throw that song on, put it in the corner when she wasn't looking, and play it really loud, and then crutch in with my head down and just look at her sad, and then just keep on going.
It's so funny.
Yeah, it's my job to mess with her.
She's a good sport, though. She takes it well.
Yeah, she does. Anyways, yeah, Nasdaq's still bouncing here though. So the Nasdaq has bounced at these lows 3 times. We do have lower highs here though. We do see a little bit lower highs coming. Nasdaq. So I think a lot of people are going to be watching this trend line here. This right here. See if that trend line holds term. Good time to average down a bit. I don't know. Yeah, everybody tried Mike Jones's phone number. I mean, that's what happens when you put it in a song. 281-330-8004. Hit Mike Jones up on the low. I still think we break here. I don't think we can get. It's possible, but I think we are so close to this low that eventually this low is going to break down in the Nasdaq. Is my guess here. That's why I was shorting earlier. Maybe I should have waited a little bit for a larger pop, or maybe I should have just had a little bit more resilience exiting. But I think it's easy to say after hindsight as we start pushing back down here. 45 minutes into the opening bell. I'm super bearish for today and bull for Monday, but bearish the rest of next week. Yeah, I mean, bald man, I think it depends on what happens over the weekends. There's more rumblings and rumors of like boots on the ground and stuff like that happening over the weekend. And if that happens, Sunday evening we could open up red and have more turmoil into the busy week we have next week. We got jolts, we've got payrolls, we've got the ADP monthly report, we've got Powell, we've got a lot of stuff going on. We got retail sales data next week. So there's a lot of economic reports next week. Here's the Nasdaq starting to get close to these lows again. But yeah, we've got a lot of stuff going on next week. So it's an interesting week for sure. And this right. See if we reject here. Get over it. Maybe we'll hold the top of the trend. Trapping the shorts. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, still kind of rejecting this top of this level. God, can you explain a candlestick chart? Yeah, I mean, candlestick charts. This might be good for Brit too. I think and I were talking about this recently. Candlestick charts just show you a specific time frame through a candle. Traders use these the most. So this is a 1 minute chart, so every candle represents 1 minute. 5 minute chart up, every candle represents 5 minutes. Weekly chart, every candle represents a week, so you can see different trends, market move. time frames based off of these candles. But each specific candle, can show you different things. Like an example of this is like, here's a hammer candle right here. You can see it. It looks like a sledgehammer kind of thing. This just means that price went down to this level right here and got ripped back up really quick. Got pushed back up really quickly. It's called a down wick. It signifies short-term buying pressure. And the opposite can be true here. Like, look, here's an up wick, a bigger up wick. And what happened after that? We dropped a little bit. What happened after this one? We went up a little bit. Now, nothing's perfect, but you can use those candlesticks and the type of pattern that the candlesticks show to get a little bit of an idea on where the asset is going short. We have some down wicks forming here at the support level right around the lows. You can see this one bounced here up after this. We moved up after this. But yeah, it just represents a time frame with candle. Here's a big down wick right here at these lows. So this is where the lows formed, which means that we went down to this low and immediately got pushed back up. So there was buyers that stepped in right here, forming that wick. You can just use that to gauge things. Engulfing candles are relevant too. Engulfing candles are just one candle completely engulfs the other one. But yeah, so the following candle engulfs the previous, I should say. Here's the NASDAQ starting to push towards these lows. The NASDAQ is getting closer.
Been picking it up from watching, but I appreciate the further explanation, the information reinforcement. That was a good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. The VIX, what is the VIX? Hold on. So the VIX is going to be going up as the NASDAQ goes down. VIX is almost at 30. So, yeah, the VIX is just a volatility gauge. Up to almost 30. But still kind of in a struggle. VIX still struggling. Oil still up 2.5% on the day, but I think we started to see. Oh, it's just not breaking hot. All right, NASDAQ just cracked lows here, guys. So look at the NASDAQ broke underneath this trend line. It did reject at that trend line we did earlier, which I think a lot of traders are watching. And again, look at the NASDAQ coming down here. So NASDAQ just broke lows of the year. We're at 23,600 new lows of the year on the NASDAQ, 23,597 fives. So NASDAQ just cracked lows of the year again. Still breaking down here. Okay, still breaking down. See if this fear continues. John, what is a table pounding buy? I don't know if there are such a thing right now in these markets. Depends on the time frame. We talking long term, short term. Yeah, so Israel's Channel 12 says Trump's Vice President Vance participated in indirect contacts with the Iranians. President's deputy expects Iran's war to continue for several more weeks, according to Axios. 10-year yield now up to almost 4.5%, 30-year up to almost 5%, 2 years up to right around 4%. So, bond market is one of the scariest things, and the NASDAQ is breaking lows. It's officially in correction territory. So, market's getting a little bit more nervous here regarding things. And we are officially correction territory now. All right, guys, so we're at 23,600s. See if this resistance level holds here. If we get back up here, maybe I'll go long, but see if this low we confirmed multiple times ends up connecting it right here at 20. And Disc has more upside than Meta, but yeah. Well, that has to do with just memory prices. The thing scaring memory recently is Google's compression algorithm that means that large language models will potentially need less memory in the future. Again, if that's true, then, you know, maybe we'll see some corrections in memory. Memory's super expensive right now. If I want to buy 64 gigs of RAM, it's between $600 up to over $1,100 for which is 232 sticks. So memory is expensive right now. Memory's expensive. And yeah.
Wonder how much the compression will reduce the price on memory.
Yeah, I mean, it's all speculation at this point. I see somebody in chat saying it's paper not even live, so it's just theory now. But see,
yeah.
Short term, I think we're gonna be okay, but long term, in memory prices, it's probably still gonna go up. Just 'cause prices rise over time. PlayStation apparently is gonna raise. It's funny to see finance news talking about this, but PlayStation is gonna raise PS5 prices to $649.99.
Well, I'm not buying one. I was considering it.
I thought about buying one for Halo since Halo's coming out for it. It's a slightly better machine than Xbox, and I'm an Xbox person, right? But just in terms of specs, slightly better machine. They've kind of done the whole thing that you see a lot of brands do over the past few years, where, and we've seen this for much longer than the last few years, obviously, but where they restrict the amount of consoles they make to force demand, less supply, more demand. You saw Popeyes do it with their chicken sandwich. Nintendo does it a lot with Switch. And so they did that really well. And they did that to inflate these prices. What it is. I can't blame them, but
seems like they especially did it with like the new generation consoles, like a lot more than they did with previous generations.
Yeah, they did, but consoles, if we look at inflation, if we take inflation into it, have gone down in price as well.
Oh, definitely. I mean, like when the Sega Saturn came out when I was like 7 or 8 years old, and it was $500 then.
Right. Well, which is probably fun. And yeah, but I think it's also kind of crazy to raise the price of how long has the PS5 been out? Like 4 years? 5 years? That's kind of crazy to raise the price of a 5-year-old console.
Yeah, 6 years.
Hey, wait, I can hear something.
2020. That was me talking.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
But you were close. It came out 6 years ago.
Dude, you have the ultimate PC setup, just buy Game Pass. I have Game Pass. I'm not a PC gamer, I'm really not. I need ease. My whole family uses Xbox, not just for games, but as a entertainment system. We download our streaming apps on it. We do all that stuff on it, right? I'm always going to want to use a controller, even if a mouse is a little bit more efficient. Stuff like that. All right, so we're back up to this trend line here. We cracked lows, and look at this trend line still holding on the NASDAQ. So we cracked lows. The trend line still holding here. So they should have used the tariff excuse. They might be using the tariff excuse. BYD posted revenue of $803.96 billion. They expected $836, so lower than expected. And this is an EV brand. They're down. Net income 32.6. They expected 35, so a little bit better net income, but worse revenue. All right, yeah, so NASDAQ, where's the Dow at? Is the Dow breaking lows? Not quite. Lows of the Dow are under. Look at this 46,000. This is why I always try to explain to people with technical trading, whole dollar numbers are relevant. You know, like 46,000 on the Dow, it's psychological. People naturally gravitate towards big round whole dollar numbers. It's human nature. And so because of that, it translates over to charting as well, where you look at, you know, the big whole dollar numbers, you can see a lot of support areas like that around them. So 46,000 on the Dow, I think, is important. We're at 46.18s now. The Dow is starting to push back down. NASDAQ is now under 24s. NASDAQ is starting to flush back down. The top of that trend line that we drew earlier is still holding. Look at this. So we're down to 23,610s. Yeah, we'll see. News is a little light, although again, we do have Michigan consumer sentiment, and 9 o'clock is coming out very soon. Yeah, 9 a.m. is coming very soon. All right, guys. So should we do a giveaway now? Would you guys want a take profit giveaway or a lucid giveaway? I'll tell you what, I'll give somebody, hold on, let's see what the trend says. Lucid. Lucid. Okay. Take profit. We'll do both. We'll give a take profit away today. We'll give a lucid away today already. So I'll give you guys this. All right. I'll tell you guys this. This will be my first giveaway today. My coupon code is now BGT, beginner trading. BGT. Give me your best. Give me your best abbreviation. The one that makes me laugh the most. I'll give a. I have here. Yeah, we get. Remember, Lucid re-upped their 50% off now. So for the first. You get 50% off for the first 2 uses, and then 45% off for 5 eval purchases. 30% off after that. But let me make sure. Check this. Yeah. Yeah, we'll give a Lucid 25k eval. Free one. Whoever can make me laugh the most. I'll have to scroll back. What does BGT stand for, guys? It's got to make me laugh, though. Big green taco. Big gains. Best gaming trader. Big gangster trader. Bald guy trading. Baton Rouge gumbo trading. Big gonad trader. Hey. I'm the top 3 wimpiest trader ever. You guys gotta be creative with this giveaway, guys. JEP, that one made me laugh. It was so ridiculous. That's alright. I like the gumbo one. Gentle giant trader. I'm definitely not giant. Batman gonna taco. All right, guys. It's now 9 o'clock. NASDAQ is getting very close to 23,600s. Bro got trucked. Barely genuine? Barely. That's this great trader in denial. Huh? Bulls got trapped. Probably true. Broke, give me that. I like that one too. Bias guy trading. Bobblehead guy top 3. Bad guy trend. Britain's greatest trader. Listen, I'm from Louisiana, but my last name is London, so I just feel like I represent England at this point in time. I represent Britain. You know? Blame that guy. Nasdaq's close to lows here. Nasdaq close to lows. Who do you think we should give it to, Britt? I don't know, man. Big grumpy trolls.
I'm not sure yet. I'll have to scroll back through some of them. There were a couple of funny ones though.
Bad grammar team. John also represents the Irish aura. Yeah, my red beard, you know. I feel like I represent the Irish too.
I think you just found a new nickname, Redbeard.
Redbeard?
Yeah. Or John Supreme. That was a great DJ name from yesterday.
Yeah, John Supreme. Yeah.
Yeah.
You laughed most at mine? I don't even remember what yours was, bro. Let's scroll up. Yeah, Nasdaq's still down. Bro got talent. Boomer got talent. I think I have to give it. I think I'm going to give it to JEP. We'll give another take profit away today. But I think I got to give it to JEP. He's made me laugh twice with those. So, bottom guessing trader.
He definitely made you chuckle the hardest too. So
yeah,
I think I go with you.
That's fair. Again, join our Discord, guys. We're going to be doing another giveaway later on with a take profit account. But join our Discord. Here's our Discord link right here. Nasdaq just cracked lows again. We're at 23,595s. 23,595s. It's funny. You know what's odd about YouTube is that like people are leaving me. People leave me comments on the videos, but I don't allow comments, and so it shows me like a preview of the comment they're saying. And then when I click on it, it just disappears.
Should allow comments for all the compliments I'm sure you'd get.
Nah, there's scammers. Scammers get into the comments. The reason I disabled them is because basically what the scammers will do is they will, the scammers will, you know, like as soon as the video is published, it's not even a reasonable time frame. Within like 30 seconds of the video being published, they'll send a bunch of bots to it and they'll be like, hey, have you heard of Steve, the investor? And then somebody else will immediately respond in like 10 seconds. Oh, I know Steve. Steve's great. And then a different account. Oh, Steve? Y'all know Steve too? Wow. And there'll be like 10 or 20 comments just pumping Steve up. And basically it's a scammer. They'll try to get people to join like WhatsApp, Telegram, and then they'll promise them crazy returns. They'll be like, yo, we'll give you, you know, Steve can make 100% in a week, which anybody telling you they can make 100% in a week, run the heck away. They are trying to, and essentially what they'll do is they'll talk people into giving them crypto, and then they'll just never send it back. You know, now sometimes they even keep them on the leash a little bit more, and they'll say, hey, you know, your 20K is up 100%. It's now 40,000+. You know, but if you want to withdraw it, you got to pay taxes. Send us another 5 or 6. And then people are so desperate, they're kind of counting their money. They're like, ooh, I'm up 100%. And they'll just kind of keep this going until they send them as much money as they can before they figure out it's a scam. And the people want to believe it's not so much because they've already invested so much time and energy into it. And that's how they get people. Very common finance.
Yeah, but dude, it's Steve. Everybody knows Steve.
Dude, everybody does know Steve. Look, Steve's right here, guys. Look, Steve's here. That's Steve over there. Bottom guy, that guy right there. He's chilling over there. He's hanging out.
Oh yeah. That's Steve. Okay.
I hate Steve. That's fair. I don't really like him either. He's staring at me all day. I feel like he's judging me anytime I go long. NASDAQ, break it down here. Testing these lows again. We're at 23,587 on the NASDAQ. Looks like we're going to crack lows again. And here we go. We're about to crack lows again, maybe. Yeah, we do have Michigan consumer sentiment today. I don't know if it's really going to do anything, but we do have Michigan. All right, guys. We finally get some economic data tomorrow. You've got a dope setup. Hey, thank you, OEG. I appreciate the donation, my friend. Thank you, brother. Video about to go under 170. Yeah, the NASDAQ is getting way down. It's at 23,500. Right around these lows again. That upper trend line is still holding. That's one of the most fancy offices I've ever seen. The wood is beautiful. Honestly, it's a nice freaking office here. Everybody says it's a kitchen.
Yeah, look at the stove behind you.
Oh my gosh. It's nice. Office. This is a nice office.
Oh, it's super nice.
All right. Will the NASDAQ crack lows again? We're going to be day trading into the opening bell, so stick around, guys. We will be day trading this. We'll see what we get today. Yeah, I'll send you a code. If you message me on Discord, I'll send you the code. It gives you 100% off the account. I'm Bitcoin short from 69,000, trying to test the 63,000. I mean, I hope you're wrong, but good luck, sir. You do a cookie show now? Yeah, top 3 gotta play. And if you didn't win the challenge here, guys, I'm sorry if you did not win. But again, if you didn't win, Lucid accounts, they recently re-upped their Vault promo. You now get a good bit off. Let me make sure. Yeah, so you get, I think it's 50% off your first 2 accounts. Coupon code BGT will get you the max discount, whatever it is. And then I think it's 40% off. 40% off any eval. Any eval. Limit is 5 per person afterwards. I think that's what it is. So put this link up here and y'all can check it out. Again, great way to help support the channel. We are going to be day trading on a Lucid funded account at the opening bell. Yesterday was a green day. I think we're slightly red. The NASDAQ did tap under this low real quick. Again, it is an affiliate of mine, so I am biased, of course. But
Too late for entry, but I like bubblegum trading.
Bubblegum trading?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when NVIDIA was 200, I said I wish I bought it at 170s. Hey, dude, listen. Box of chocolates trading. Not BGT, the promo code, but hey. I still like it. I'm a sucker for Forrest Gump. You know?
One of the best movies ever made. Great for kids and adults.
It really is. And for like, you know, there's enough adult stuff where like adults laugh, but the kids don't get it. You know?
Yeah, if you watch it as a kid and then watch it again 10 years later, it's a whole different movie. Anyway,
right, exactly. 100%. Yeah, so Meta is causing at least a lot of these drops. Google is down. Nvidia is down heading into the opening bell. We got 20 minutes into the open. We're at 169.90s here. VIX at 30 plus. Yeah, VIX is now over 30s right now over the last few minutes. Oil. NASDAQ just tested lows again. Oil's up to almost $98 for WTI crude. Brent crude is sitting at over 111s right now. Brent heading into the opening bell here, so just be careful, guys. Someone else is there? No, that's my conscience speaking right now. You know, you're just imagining it.
Like gaslighting them.
Yeah.
I mean, I totally am his conscience. I got tired of taking a back seat, decided to chime in, you know, but
I've been ignoring it for a long time. You know, it's finally back, guys. It's finally back. Good guy John's coming now. Kind of. Carol makes this coffee freaking strong. Like, I'm kind of a whip with coffee. They're like, oh, put 1 big scoop per cup. I'm usually like, if we got 8 cups, I'm putting 7 scoops. Carol's got to be putting at least 2 big scoops in this coffee per cup. That coffee that you sip and it's like so bitter, it's like, ugh. Oof.
It's my kind of coffee. I love dark roast.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens over the weekend. Do you guys think we get more escalation over the weekend here? That, what is the Discord link? Discord link is right here. Oh, wait. Yeah, join our Discord, guys. Completely free, doesn't cost anything. I've definitely been trying to grow it a little bit more recently.
If the trend holds, I think we might see more escalation over the weekend.
Yeah, yeah. Here, let me remove this. More tweets for sure. You think we get boots on the ground over the weekend? I think that is one of the risks right now. I think that's one of the escalation risks. More boots on the ground over the weekend. Oil still elevated. Gold falling down a little bit. And the NASDAQ, again, testing a little. Heading into the bell at about 18, 17 minutes.
Boots on the ground, maybe. I don't know if it'll be for actual engagement or just for like security, but it's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I just sent you a message. You're a cool guy. Send me a screenshot of you as him, though, so I know it's you.
Is that a Hackers reference?
Oh, the movie Hackers, it might be.
Yeah, Zero Cool.
Yeah. That movie's fun. It's completely unrealistic to actual hacking, but
it makes it so interesting looking.
It's kind of like the Jurassic Park scene with hacking. Right, Jurassic Park scene, like she gets a full-on visual of everything. She's like, "Yeah, I'm hacking into the system now," and like it gives her like a full-on visual. And I'm sitting there looking at that, like that's not how it went back. Especially not in the '90s. She's like, "I'm hacking into the system right now." It's like, dude,
I remember it as a kid. You know, it looked so high tech, and then you look back, and it's like so generic now.
Yeah, for sure. Invasion of Karg. Yeah, that's possible for sure. Swordfish is a great movie too.
Swordfish is awesome. And Invasion of Karg just sounds like a sci-fi novel.
Okay, gotcha, Jay. Yeah, I'll send it to you right now. We're still doing a take profit giveaway later though today, so stick around. This chat alone can bring world peace. I believe that. All right, guys. So we're starting to move up. Let's see if this trend line holds now as well. 23,600s. Yeah, let me go ahead and send this. Yeah, it's 100% off a 25k eval. So, where's my? I got too many windows. All right, Nasdaq back up to over 23,600s here. Let me know in chat right now. Number one, I haven't done this yet. Where are you guys from today? Where are you guys watching the stream from? Let me know. We are rejecting
Always fun to
here.
see where people are from.
Yeah, I always enjoy it. I've never won anything. This is a first. You got to believe in yourself. Trade is still closed. Jersey, EU, Atlanta, DC, New Mexico, Missouri, Australia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Singapore, Austria, Wisconsin, and Florida, Greater Houston, Chicago, Carolina, Houston. Hey, welcome, guys. Welcome.
Some of these are awesomely unexpected.
Yeah, no, we got a lot of people from around the world, which is probably because I start streaming so early.
Probably.
Our pet's name too. Look, the only pet I want, that right here, Rosie. You got the best pizza and
dog.
bagels. You really is. Bruce, Rosie's a great dog. Bruce is just, I love Bruce.
Bruce is sweet.
Yeah, Bruce just freaking stinks, dude. We bathe him,
I
it
know.
makes it worse almost. I think it's something with his gland. No matter what you do, Bruce, not smell.
Poor dude.
Yeah. Are we winning, John? I'm down on the day slightly. We made money yesterday, though, so. All right, guys. Opening bell is in 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Yeah, Bruce ate a bird. I walked out the other day. It was a bloodbath. Bruce had a freaking wing hanging out of his mouth. He ate the whole thing. You know?
God, how did he even catch it?
I don't know. I think it ran into the window, and Bruce seized the moment. I think is what happened. I think it ran into the window and he sees the moment. We walk out there, he's got a wing hanging out of his mouth. There's feathers everywhere. You know? Maddie and my wife are like, oh my gosh. And I was just kind of like, dude, you freaking jerk. Bruce, leave the bird alone. We like our birds. They wake us up every morning. You hear them singing in the morning. I don't think it was those birds. I think it was a different bird, but still.
As long as it wasn't a mockingbird, you know.
Yeah. We're going to day trade today. I just don't like shorting so close to lows. And I don't know if I like a long either. I'm going to wait and see what the opening bell brings us. Yeah, hopefully it was the non-singing type of bird. I didn't get enough of a look at it to really see what kind it was, because all I saw was a wing. Oh, that's all I saw.
Well, and at that point, even if you had gotten a look, I doubt it would have been recognizable.
Right, for sure. It was over. I have a picture of it. Maybe I'll show it to you. Let's see what MU does, though. Look at the NASDAQ start to pop. MU. Creeping up. It's at 357s now. 357s. So... We're gonna be day trading today. I'm just excited because next week we actually got some stuff to talk about. This week we had Iran, and that's great. But you guys know me, I like economic data. Did the president tweet? I don't. MU started to come back though. It's at 358. It's still down a ridiculous percentage over the last week, but it is back up some here. Nasdaq's starting to follow it a little bit. Nvidia here is still at 170s and it's bouncing right around 170s now. Microsoft 361s. The Dow went all the way down under 46,000. It's now testing 46,000 on the way back up here with 9 minutes left.
Where'd that poll end up earlier?
People are saying Trump tweeted. I'm not sure what he tweeted. Yeah, he didn't tweet it. I see. So the poll right now, 57% say it's not time to buy NASDAQ. 43% say it is time to buy NASDAQ. Yeah, I don't see any Trump. Yeah, the interesting part is what happens over this week. I don't know. I don't know what we get over the weekend. What do you guys think?
In terms of Iran or just the market?
In terms of what escalation we might potentially have over the weekend and how that impacts the market, what I'm looking at. So I want to see if we get any more escalation. How is that going to impact things and more? So that's what we're doing.
I think it's 50-50. We will see boots on the ground, but I don't think it will be for actual engagement. Not yet.
Yeah, that might be true. All right, guys, here we go. Opening bell within 7 minutes here. 7 minutes. Four-year war. NASDAQ's back up there though. Let's see if that previous level at 620 right now. We are down on the day. But we're green overall in the account, and we are green over the last few days as well. Hey, good luck, Robert. Yeah, we could see whippiness. I'm going to look for an opening range breakout at the open. So I'm going to look for an orb setup. All right, so Rubini, Nuria Rubini says there's over a 50% chance the U.S. escalates and Iran is backing down, risk greater economic and geopolitical damage. We also had Carnival Cruise earnings. 20-cent EPS, expected 18 cents. Revenue of 6.11 billion. They expected 6.13. So they missed revenue. They beat EPS. EBITDA, which is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, is 1.27 billion. They expected 1.26. Adjusted net income, 275 million. They expected 251. So, assuming, I don't know, their revenue missed. Rarely are the polls greater than 60-40. Usually they're pretty tight. You know, bull, bear, up, down, buy, sell is always very subjective, and you usually have balance, a lot of balance there. All right, guys, so the Nasdaq's still heading higher here right now. We're gonna look for an opening range breakout here. Opening range breakout. We're looking at 10-15 minutes. We're gonna see if we hold, but that's what we're looking at, 10 or 15 minutes in the range. See what power hour looks like today heading into the week. Yeah, it's called an orb. We've had a lot of range, though. We really have. So the market's been very rangy. All right, so here's the 200 exponential. It's at 660s. We have 4 minutes left. I'm not going to take any trades with the open, but we're watching this 200 exponential. It's also right around the volume, high volume area, volume profile. See what happens. Gotta wait for some way. But Fridays are dangerous. Sometimes you get more chop on Fridays. Sometimes there's just more risk. So do we get today? All right, so here we go, guys. Opening bells very soon here, guys. Very soon. Give me your last minute bull or bear predictions. Some people see it as dangerous. Some people see it as opportunity. Is that a Jason Bourne quote? Maybe. You know. I'm thinking of adding more to my long on NVIDIA. I think I should hold till Monday. I'm not going to tell you anything in terms of that. I think it's a little... I think markets could be volatile over the weekend, depending on what happens. So, a lot of stuff we're not sure about. Brent crude is under 111s, but it's still up. I see bears, bulls chilling outside the steakhouse. Crude is up there. Yeah, Brent crude up to 111s basically right now. Yields are high. Inflation fears are there. So just be careful today, guys. Bitcoin headed to south. Yeah, Bitcoin is still at 66s here. It is kind of stabilizing with everything else. But Bitcoin's looking a little scary heading into the opening bell. We got 1 minute left. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed, guys. Make sure you catch up to the stream here. We have less than a minute now. Less than a minute before the opening bell. I'll be careful today. We have Michigan consumer sentiment and inflation expectations at 10 o'clock today. Might be interesting to see what we get there. And we are heading into next week where it's a big data week next week. We got payrolls, jolts, ADP monthly jobs, Powell. I think we have ISM data as well, if I remember correctly. And then the official payroll report on Friday. So, all right, here we go. Here's the open. Good luck, guys. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're caught up to the stream. 10 seconds. You just tap that 200 exponential at 660 here. Are we going to drop at the opening bell? Let's see. Tired of you telling me to be responsible. I know, man. Listen, coming from the top 3 least responsible person right now. There's the opening bell here, guys. NASDAQ is at 630s. All in a little bit, but let's see if the first move is the wrong move here. We start pushing up over this 200 exponential leading into this weekend here. NASDAQ is trying to push up. We're at 650s right now, 650s. A little bit of a wicky candle here. Let's see if it holds. Yeah, definitely be careful today. NASDAQ, it's close to these lows here. We start getting close to these lows, I might take a very small position. My strategy today, guys, in day trading is going to be to take small size first. Small size first. I think this is what most traders should be doing, is taking very small size first. And then if you're green a significant amount, then you can add to it and scale in with larger risk. You can do that, or you could build up small profit first. Build up, $50, $100, $200 in profit. And then if you want to take more risk afterwards, you got a little bit more of cushion to do so. I think that's the smart way to manage this, especially with it being Friday, especially with all the fears going on right now. NASDAQ officially in correction territory. But yeah, we are starting to, we're in the high volume area, so we could go up and down here to be. And it is the opening bell. We're about a minute into the day here, so can't take any trades yet. We have to wait for this range to form at least first. See if we start pushing towards lows. And BGT. PH fat. BGT. S&P starting to break down. NASDAQ starting to break down. S&P is about to break lows of the day, though. It's closer to lows than the NASDAQ is, it looks like. Here's oil. WTI crude still elevated. Gold starting to flush down. I think I need a new contract for gold. Here goes the NASDAQ starting to fall. S&P's cracking lows right now here, guys. So look at the S&P 500 right now. S&P just cracked lows at 6470s on the S&P. So the S&P did just hit lows, 6470, 75. Look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ starting to test lows as well here. We're getting really close. What time is it? How much time after the open? We're only 2 minutes. I got to follow my rules here. I can't trade this. I need to wait at least 4 minutes after the bell. I got to stick to those rules.
So that's your personal rule?
Yeah, it's my rule. 4 minutes after the bell. The first 5 minutes after the open can just be incredibly volatile. Incredibly volatile. So I have to just be patient and kind of wait for good price action. Code BGT. Okay. Fat. BGT. I don't trade 2 hours before the open because I got caught in news. Yeah, a lot of economic reports and stuff like that happen. All right, so we did hit lows on the NASDAQ and then rebound back up. The S&P cracked lows at 6474. I'm tempted to short this, but we're still a little bit too early. We're 3 minutes in the day. I might miss the run. But I gotta wait. I've seen him break his rules. I have broken my rules. Definitely. Everybody's weak sometimes, guys. You know?
It's wild watching the back and forth. It honestly reminds me of an actual physical struggle, just watching the chart.
Right. Well, it is a struggle. It's buyers versus sellers right now. Buyers versus sellers. Sellers are winning over the last 3 minutes, but buyers can get a lot of strength quickly too. There's a very famous quote in trading, and it's buyers take the stairs, shorts take the elevator. Which means that like fear is a much stronger emotion than greed is generally. And so when markets start to sell, they can sell off quickly. They can also move up quickly, but I would say it's more common to move down fast than it is to move up fast, especially when we're around lows like this. And look, we're approaching these lows now. We're at 585s.
This is kind of like confidence takes longer to build than fear, right? Is what you're saying.
Right, exactly. People start selling a little bit faster. And you should cut losses faster than profit on winners as well. There's another famous saying, cut your losses quickly and let winners run. And because of that dynamic. All right, we just cracked the lows. And we are now breaking down here. Again, NASDAQ officially in correction territory here. We are 5 minutes into the day. After the opening bell, I mean. And we are officially in correction territory. And the NASDAQ has broken lows again here. Well, we might get some buys stepping in depending on what the rest of the market looks like here, guys.
So you said 10% was the threshold for corrections?
Yes.
Okay.
Minor correction at 10%. The NASDAQ's now down over that, though. It's probably down, what, about 11% right now versus its highs. And so, look, the bears are definitely in control right now. We get a bounce up to like 600, maybe I'll short. But we're too close to these lows. First 5 minute range maybe is formed at this point. Nvidia is now under 170s as well. So Nvidia under 170s. We're at 550s right now on the NASDAQ. Look at this red action continuing here, guys. We have had, since the opening bell, 6 red, deep red candles now. We are now under the lows of the day. NASDAQ is officially into correction territory. The S&P 500 continues to fall as well. It's at 64, 68s for the S&P right now. Steve wins, guys. Steve wins. But man, this is looking scary in markets right now. Scary, guys. S&P just cracked lows again. 64, 68 on the S&P 500. Markets open red. Stocks fall. NASDAQ down 1% on the day. VIX is high.
How's
We
VIX
need to-
calculated?
VIX is volatility. So downward volatility in markets will make the VIX rise. Higher the VIX is, the more volatility you have in current markets.
Okay.
And VIX is currently at 30.28, which is high versus like earlier end of the year low for the VIX. All right, NASDAQ just broke lows again. 23,531 is now the low on the NASDAQ here. Please let the president say peace will be announced tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, we don't really have any, like, unless I'm going to pile on momentum here, I got to look for a short up to, like, maybe. All right, there's a little rebound bounce here on the NASDAQ. It's starting to get back up there here. Not quite where I want it. This could act as a resistance level. There's 80s. I want 600s, though. I want right here. I need to maybe take it a little bit before. But I am looking at this level right here. I might not get it, though. I got to just be patient and wait for it. All right, we're at 80s. Do we hold or do we reverse back higher? No, I don't have that fat. Nope, don't have that. Sorry, bro. All right, guys. All right, we're back up. I'm going to take a short right here. Very small, one contract. Add to it if it goes in my favor. Which it just did. Not enough to go in my favor yet. This will be a longer term trade. In my favor, but I love it when I'm this green one as soon as I enter, but it's such a small trade I can't really celebrate it. All right, we'll add to this now. Give this some more time. It is Friday though, so not guaranteed money today for sure, but how much we got? 10 minutes in the day. I'm not gonna add any more to this yet. I'll add more if we go back into the green. I'm using about a 625 stop loss area. So my stop loss area is about right here. Well, Bears, Steve, I believe in you here, man. I believe in you, Steve. Who believes in Steve today? I do.
I definitely believe in Steve.
That's right. It rhymes too, so it's got to be true.
Yeah.
Well, Steve. Got us the top 3 bear of the market. Yeah, I think I heard Warren Buffett say that one time. Probably. All right, there we go. Little whippy price action here though, but well, now we're down in this trade so far. I blame Steve. I don't know who else there is to blame.
An insidious plot by Steve.
That's right, man. It's definitely not my fault, you know. But hey, give it time.
I like the idea of a supervillain named Steve. You know, it's like bow before the might of Steve.
Right,
know?
like usually there's like a really bad like Vladimir. You know,
yeah.
Usually it's like a really scary name. Steve is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's a sleeper villain.
That's right. Right, like Bob.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're back into the green here. Yes, sir. Market's not going anywhere right now, man. We're just going back and forth, back and forth.
An epic struggle.
It really is, honestly. It's Friday, so a lot of the time we get more of this on Friday. But
Why?
People take early weekends. They do a bunch of different stuff. Hold on, we're back down. I'm trying to give it enough time, but not really staying down long enough. Yeah, that's better. I'm gonna take half off here and then just play with the rest and see what we want to do with this. Maybe add back if it starts to break down more. Keep it small. That way the risk is pretty light. It looks weak. Yeah, there we go. And we will add to this if it breaks down enough. So more. Go. Keeps finding too much support right here on the volume profile though at 570. So we are green in the trade for sure. I'll give it one more second. Gets ripped back down some more. Kinda is. Yeah, consumer sentiment drops in 15 minutes. I forgot Michigan consumer 15 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this right here, break even. Or no, we made money on the trade, I'm pretty sure. Let me see. Yeah, we did. Okay, good. But so far, 5 minutes of choppy range here. We do have Michigan consumer sentiment. I don't know if it's gonna move it. I don't know if it's gonna move markets like that. We'll see. All right, so now we're popping back higher here. A buyer of meta here. Might short this again at 600s. My level. This is looking weak. Then it just faked out, so I don't know. Very balanced here, and you can see it on the volume profile. Like this is balance here between buyers and sellers. You see all the volume. So is up here. There might be balance up here. You got little slivers. Oh, you got little slivers in between, and you got a little bit low volume area here, but get up here. Yeah, just balance here between buyers and sellers, guys. I gotta wait for this to break. We do have Michigan consumer sentiment at 10. So Sandisk is up 4.5%. It could be an overreaction to the Google compression algorithm news. It could be overreaction. Sandisk is pushing up. MU is as well. Apple is as well. Meta's still down though, so Meta's still kind of weak. Nvidia though is probably the one you want to watch. It's back over 170s here. Yeah, the opening bell happened right here, so we do have like a range that we can watch right around this area. The orb. A lot of people are going to be looking at that right now. 200 exponential right here as well, so we start to get towards the top of this area. Maybe we can get some buys in. But I think we do have to wait at least a little bit first. Michigan data could cause chop. I don't think it's big or influential enough to cause chop, but it could. We'll see. Try to draw the orb so we can, to be honest. I expect a 1% pump. How's the Dow? Dow's back up. It hit 45 750s here after the open. So it got down pretty weak after the opening bell. It's kind of starting to bounce back though. It's at almost 45 900s right now. Nasdaq is literally fighting QQQ. Nasdaq is the QQQ, sir. QQQ is a Nasdaq ETF. So it's just an ETF based around the Nasdaq. Excuse me. Just like the SPY is an ETF based around the S&P. An AM tweet. Well, we got Michigan data at 10.
It's an ETF.
Exchange traded fund.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like you can't day trade, like you can't trade or invest in the S&P directly, right, or the Nasdaq directly, right? And so there's a couple different vehicles you could use to trade them. If it's short-term trading, you use futures like the S&P, Nasdaq, futures contracts like we're watching right now in the Nasdaq, or you can buy what's called exchange traded funds, which are essentially just other companies that compile all those stocks together and give investors exposure to them. Is what it is. You can have a bunch of sectors ETFs. You can have microchip ETFs. You can have S&P 500 ETFs, Nasdaq ETFs. You can have gold ETFs. Like there's just
okay. And for everybody listening, this sounds like I don't know what I'm talking about. It's because I don't. I'm trying to learn.
Yeah. All right. So Nasdaq coming back down here. Maybe we can watch 25,600 for a buy, but let me see if any breaking news is happening here. I don't think the candle is fairly large enough to show that, but I see 2 Chinese container ships returned after attempting to leave the Gulf through the Strait of Hormuz on Friday, according to ship tracking data.
It's kind of unexpected.
And Nasdaq coming back down, S&P. Hearing a lot of people. Nasdaq back down under 23,600s. A big red candle though. Iran says steel plants in Isfahan were targeted by U.S. strikes. That's my friend Britt. Old friend of mine. All right, Nasdaq is falling down. We're at 570s here. I want to short this, but I'm nervous about a bear trap or a bull trap. Bear trap would have been. That's a red candle. We're under 23,600 here. We have 9 minutes left until Michigan data. 9 minutes. So be careful. 9 minutes left. Big economic data next week.
You're going to take the chance?
Not now. We broke it down too much. I need a bounce. It could be catalyst driven too. Is another thing I'm worried about here. So I might take 584s, 585s. Get a bounce up there. Yeah, I'm looking at news. I don't see any news that would really cause this. You guys are welcome to correct me if there is some news causing this, but I don't see anything. I don't know. It could be this report. A diplomatic source to Al Mayadeen says preparations for holding talks between Washington and Tehran are still in the stage of transmitting messages through mediators. Collapse of the previous 2 rounds of negotiations following the aggression against Iran puts many doubts regarding the upcoming round. We're back close to lows of the day on the NASDAQ, and we're getting very close here. And we're at the lows now. We just cracked the lows again here. So NASDAQ just broke down. It's at 23,500s here on the NQ. 23,500s. I don't know. Brent doesn't seem like it's increasing that much. It's getting up there, but it's still not quite over 111s again for Brent. Here's Brent right here. Tempted to short. I need a bounce. 575, 580. Expect a 5 to 10% jump today and over the weekend. Possible. Still cracking lows. There's 500, 23,500. I do believe this is a psychological level. Still cracking lows. Here's 23,500s. I do not want to buy this dip yet. I do want to wait. Next, still at 23,500s. Still breaking down here. S&P's cracking lows as well. 64.60 on the S&P. Look at that 500 test. Got the opening range breakout. We got to bounce up to test it. I'll short it. Got to be up here though. All right, guys, we're starting to head back up. We're at 23,500s here. 23,400s now. Still breaking down. That 15-minute orb breakout did work. I just didn't quite get it. It happened too fast. Michigan consumer sentiment is coming soon at 10 a.m. Still cracking lows here. 23,480s now in the S&P or on the Nasdaq. $500s again. Still too low for me to short. The University of Michigan that compiles the data. It's not just Michigan area. It's the University of Michigan that compiles it. Is what. That's still hitting lows. Look at how many red candles we've had in a row here. Still breaking lows. At the lows now, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 minutes of red. 9. I'm sorry. 9 minutes of red. Deep red in the Nasdaq here. We're back to lows. What in the 2008 is this? Yeah, I mean. Let's see what happens here, guys. Started about to 475s. 500s is right here. Bears are back in town today. We are now in official correction territory in the Nasdaq. Michigan data drops in about a minute and a half here. John, I have 2 sisters that live in Texas. I don't want to go to Texas, but I want to visit them. Help me change my mind. Really good barbecue. All right, guys. Nasdaq's breaking down again. Just cracked lows again at 474s now. 473s, 72s. Nasdaq still falls. We've had 10 minutes of red. Michigan data comes out in about a minute here. Scary markets.
A lot of good traditional German food in Texas too, which is where Texas barbecue came from.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Michigan data drops in about 40 seconds. 40 seconds. Consumer sentiment for March is expected at 55.5. It was 56.6 previously. We also get current conditions for March at 57.8 expectations. Last time, 1-year inflation expectations were 3.4%. 5-year were 3.2%. Data drops in 20 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. We are getting a rebound back up ahead of this report. I don't know how much this market will... It's a B-level report, but if it's really high or low, it could move things. We'll see. Here it goes, the data in about 5 seconds here, guys. 5 seconds. The Michigan data. And here's the release right now. Okay, so all lower than expected, all weaker than expected. Look at the volatility show up, too. All weaker than expected. 51.7 consumer expectations. Consumer sentiment, 53.3 versus 55.5 expected here. So we did get a big red candle, but we retraced it immediately after Michigan data showed weaker consumer sentiment than expected. Higher 1-year inflation expectations from the conflict from March. And current conditions weaker than expected at 55.8 versus 57.8 as well. So weaker consumer sentiment and conditions, higher inflation expectations, according to the University of Michigan here, according to their data. So we did get an immediate red move down to 444, but now the Nasdaq's kind of buying it up. So yeah, we're at 500s here. I will short a bounce up to the previous range here on the... All right, we'll take 1 here and see if it goes back down and maybe add a little bit if it goes higher. Take 2, though. I'm not going to take... sometimes the first move is the wrong move with this type of data, so that's why the short idea is here. And it's the same trend we're in, a bearish trend. All right, we're gonna add now a little bit more. Got that on the drop. There you go. There, easy. We cut it right there. We might have some right there. We retrace back up. I might short back into it. Yeah, we are going to do our take profit giveaway soon here, guys. We are still going to be doing our take profit giveaway. So, round. $500. I don't think so. Might miss out on it. I think there's a potential retracement up to 530s. I think 530s is what I'm looking at. So maybe a 550 up here too. Level. Al's not speaking today, no. All right, so look at the S&P here, guys. S&P is at 6640s. See if we hold here. But we'll try to short another rebound, like I said, up to 550 is what I'm looking at right now at this level here. Might miss it. Level here. Eve, I'm telling you, man. Got 520s. Mic is getting worse and worse, constantly cutting out. Is it really? I thought my mic was doing pretty good. It's weird. Every time somebody says this, the chat is like, "Oh no, your mic's fine, bro. Your mic's fine." It's probably because I'm turning my. There's different settings I could put it on, but
I mean, I can hear you fine.
yeah. Mic is good. Audio is fine. See, there it goes. All right, guys. Michigan data is out. I'm gonna look at 550s here, but I think I have to have a small risk. Maybe 575, maybe 570. Where's the risk? It's relatively small. I could use a risk level of this for a little bit. At like 500. Think your mic is fine. You don't complete. And is it? Yeah, that's probably true. Well, there's so much I'm trying to cover that sometimes I'll start to say something and then I'll stop because I notice something else going on. I want to. Oh. Market's kind of stuck in some chop right now, though. Not really moving well. It never happened with Steve's mic. Oh, look, there's Lance. Hey, what's up, brother? I see Lance in the chat. Oh, Lance says, gi or no gi? No gi. I like no gi. My skill is speed. And if somebody tries to slow me down in the gi, if they're like a purple belt, you know, my speed's gone. So I'm going to go with no gi. Chat, gi or no gi, let me know. The gi's too hot. I like the gi, don't get me wrong. My favorite choke's a bow and arrow choke. So like, I like the gi, don't get me wrong. But it's hot in that thing, man. In my gym, dude, they turn... No gi's fun. But they turn the heat on in my gym, too. Oh.
Well, yeah, you get a better workout that way, or at least a better sweat.
Yeah, but you probably prefer warm work in the heat. Anyways, NASDAQ started to come back down here. We are at 23,500s. Stream geared on. I have my old white belt. Wear it like a ninja, you know? Tied around my head. Stream like that.
Yeah, like Three Ninjas Headman.
That's right. Three Ninjas, dude. Terrible movie. I tried to watch it again. It'll always have a nostalgic part of my heart. I tried to show it to my son. It's really bad, dude. Like, I tried to show it to my son, but my son's 12. And so I'm thinking back when I used to watch, I was like, freaking Three Ninjas, the greatest movie ever. I put it on, dude. My son watches like 10 minutes of it, and he just looks at me and he's like, Dad, what is this right now? Like, why are you showing me this? Like, I don't want to watch this. I think he's aged out of it a little bit much.
Yeah, you should have caught him at about 6 or 8.
Yeah, 100%. A little late with it. That's okay. Yeah, so we are down under 23,500s here. I might miss my short. We're green, but I might miss my short. Why is Apple still green? Apple is green. Meta's down. Microsoft's down. SanDisk is up, though. You guys long or short here? What do you guys think? Bull or bear, long or short? Let me know in chat right now. And I think bear is the easy option. I think we're in a downward trend. We're in correction territory on the NASDAQ. We're heading into the weekend where more stuff could go on. But sometimes when there's an overabundance of one side, it gets squeezed. Big reversals sharply to the other side. And so I think you could argue either one of them here. But it's looking bear to me. Short, bear, short, headed down, and a short. Mostly shorts is what I'm seeing. And I think that's the easy answer, to be honest. I think that makes the most sense. Wait, Lance, are you still overseas right now? Where are you at? What time is it? If you're still in the chat. Big grizzly bear. All right, here's 23,500s. I think this is the short-term level we got to get over if the Bulls are going to get back in control here. Oh, South Korea, 11 p.m. out here. Oh, it's late. Oh, you're out right now doing stuff. South Korea sounds cool. I saw that picture you posted. It looks fun, man. Tell JB he needs to hurry up and get back here.
Love to hit up South Korea, but I heard it's expensive.
Yeah. I'm sure that's true. I don't know. Lance was posting some food. Food looked good.
Oh, yeah. Like the street food they do out there looks awesome.
Yeah, it does. Anyone is expecting even more taco again to save the market? I don't know. What would a taco trade look like right now? because he gave the 48-hour deadline and then he pushed it to 5 days, and now it's back to 10 days, right? So people are definitely saying TACO, which is the abbreviation stands for, and again, I'm not saying I agree with this, I'm very neutral, but that's the big thing floating around markets, TACO and all that stuff. But I don't know. There's rumors of more stuff happening over the weekend. That's why oil's been elevated today. Brent crude at $110 a barrel. All right, so here we go. We're back up. The question is, do I want to short that 550 level I talked about earlier? I guess we can. We're going to try to short this level. Here's the risk up here. Reward target's going to be down here at 500. Playing right now. We'll give it a second, though. I might take some off at 520 if we get there. A big bounce back here. I got in a little early. Maybe I'll regret that. But I'll add to it if we go deep enough into the... Not really going enough green for me to add to it yet. There we go. Hey. All right, we're going to take off. Like I said, I might take some off at 520s or so because that's where the volume profile starts showing up. Volume profile here. I'd like 500s. We're at 515. Go. That's close enough to my reward target here. We're going to go ahead and take that off. Once we start to get into this higher volume area, I just don't trust 500s, but I would have gotten it. It looks like, look at the bounce right at 500, so it looks like that was a good target. Might continue breaking down though. We're getting back close to the lows. Yeah, so far so good. So IRGC Public Relations reports that the destruction of several refueling planes and logistics fleets supporting the U.S. Army, according to news. U.S. Department of Justice official says FBI director's personal email was accessed by hackers. All right, look at that 500 level. I'm not saying that reward target I gave was the best one ever, but look at that. Definitely top 3 best ever, for sure. I might call it the top 2 best ever reward target, because look at where we bounced right at 500. I got out right before this bounce, so I'll take that. All right, guys, so we are going to do our take profit giveaway right now. And so again, let me see if I can get this. I'll do better giveaways next week. But
what's the criteria for this giveaway?
I think I'm going to say a random phrase, and it's not going to be BGT. Is it? No, I'm just joking. I'm going to say a random phrase. The first person that I see post it back to me wins. And again, don't start. Every time I do this, people start randomly guessing phrases. You know, it's not going to count. My wife keeps calling me. Okay. All right, NASDAQ started to pop back up. There's 550s. I did want this level earlier. And again, it's whoever I see on my end is going to be the winner of the giveaway. Got to be whoever I see on my end. You might be first on your end, but it depends on who I see first on my end. All right. And so you guys ready? Let me know if you're ready in chat. See, now y'all are just repeating what I say here. My wife keeps calling me. Why do you keep saying that? Did I explain it that? Like, was it that confusing? Ready? Check. Here we go. Yeah, look at the chat here. They're repeating my wife keeps calling me. All right. Let's be serious here, guys. It's an important moment. We're gonna get giveaway. Hold on, let me see. Gotta use coupon code BGT at checkout for all prop firms. Go to HubSpot channel.
I'll say it back faster than they type it. Do I win?
I'm trying to think of a phrase to go with right now. I know what phrase I'm going to go with. Earlier we said whoever could give us the best abbreviation of what, or the best explanation of what BGT stands for that's outside of beginner trading would do it. We're not going to do that this time. We already gave away a Lucid account doing that. NASDAQ now over 550s here. So if I would have taken that short, let's see if I would have gotten stopped out. I already took it once. And again, I'm going to tell you that, guys, this before we do this giveaway, y'all better join the freaking Discord. All right. I'll put it this way. If you haven't joined the Discord before we do this giveaway, I'm going to give it to somebody else. All right. I know, shameless plug for our Discord. I'm sorry, I have to do this, you know. This is just what I got to do here.
Once that my wife keeps calling John.
That's plausible, I think, you know. No. Join our Discord. She heard about how great at jiu-jitsu I was, you know, no. No, here, join our Discord. Now people are repeating join the Discord. Y'all stop it, man, stop it. Top 3 Discord ever.
They're not going to stop until you pick the actual phrase.
I know that. Yeah, I'm going to give them time to join the Discord because I know a lot of you guys are slacking on this. I'm from Louisiana. Listen, you already get preferential treatment now, then, David. You know, I'm not saying I like people from Louisiana more, but I definitely like them more. So. Now everybody's gonna pretend they're from LSU and Louisiana just to get in my favor. I know.
I think specifically you need to be from South Louisiana for it to count.
Shreveport's kind of a different state. Let's just be honest here. You know? I like Shreveport, by the way, guys. If you're from Shreveport, I still like you more than if you're from other states.
If you can't get decent boudin where you live, it doesn't count.
Yeah, that's... Roll Tide? Pew, that hurts, man. Listen. The Discord link is right here. Scroll up. I'll pin the Discord link here. Yeah, it's now pinned at the top of the page. I know what phrase I'm going to use now, too.
Tell me what it is. I won't tell the chat.
I'll send it to you. Britt's gonna show up. Actually, no, I'm not gonna send it to Britt. Because if I send it to you, people are gonna be like, dude, it's secretly Britt that won. He knew ahead of the time, and conspiracies would get started here on that. So,
Well, I was making a joke. I meant verbally tell me, like they would hear you tell me.
yeah. All right, guys, you guys ready for the giveaway? I'll do it right now. All right, the first person that I see on my end wins. Okay. First person that I see on my end wins. We are rejecting under 550. All right, so the first person to type. Make sure I have live chat set up. I muted the mic. The first person to type the word Steve into the chat wins. All right. Honestly, I have Duff win. Duff won. Eric Wallen was number 2. Yeah. Look, this is who I have on mine. Yeah. He was first. Look at the NASDAQ breakdown as I'm saying this, though. Whoa, NASDAQ break it down. Hold on. So, Stuff, you won. Israeli officials I speak with admit core perception may be decisive. Tehran believes it's winning. Yeah, look at this big slump down. I should have shorted 550, so it looks like. I think that 580 level would have been level. Stuff won. I know when you're in, it might be different, guys. Listen, I can't guarantee anything. Not an investment professional. I know. I know. Markets are looking weak. We're now under 500s. Yeah, go Tigers. That's right, Lauren. Or Lawrence. I don't know if your name is Lawrence or Lauren. Oh, it's Lawrence Richardson. Go Tigers. Yes, sir. Yeah, so again, join our Discord if you haven't yet. Gotta be part of it. Stuff. Are you guys bull or bear right now here? I don't know what to be here, to be honest. I think that big red candle makes me bearish. And maybe right here at like 515s, we'll get a rejection. Maybe 520s. Kind of a head and shoulders like rejection here. We're nicely green on the day, though, so. Here's 520s. All right, we'll short 520s. $520 rejection. I'm gonna take one off and then add to it if it goes more in the green. I just don't trust it. It looks like it could be continue back higher here. We got a little room up to 530s too. So limit risk in the profit and wait and let this break even trade if it does do what I'm worried about. Yep. Hard to see a swing back down. Yeah, so we went up to that 530 level, but we got pushed down immediately. Sort of get at this top. I think it's too indecisive. Yeah, some of you guys are late. Hit the live button next to the play button. Bearish, bearish. Yeah, I think bear's the easy money. I really do. All right. Still flushing down. There we go. I'm gonna get out right here. We've had really good accuracy today. Trading the downside. I think it's kind of easy. You didn't win, EF. Sorry, brother. Unless I just don't hear from him. Blaze says he was first. It does say you were first. I mean, listen, I've got a 2,000 megabit per second internet connection. And so I'm not saying whatever I see on my end is right, but it's definitely right. Yeah, this is a Lucid funded account. Also, guys, if you didn't win the competition, check out Take Profit. Check out Take Profit. Take Profit still has the most relaxed rules in the game, to be honest. They really do. Genuinely do. The most relaxed rules in the game. Daily payouts. Once you get over their buffer. Genuinely the most relaxed rules. And you can use coupon code BGT at checkout. BGT. Look at the breakdown still happening here. But yeah, some of the best rules in the game. That's why Take Profit is taken off. Pun intended. Withdrawal process is immediate. Minimum days until first withdrawal 0. Number of days trading to a pro account 5. Contract limits no. Pro account resets up to 3. Fees for pro account one time 130. No activation fees as well on their base accounts. Just a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff here for Take Profit. Again, I'll put this link up here, chat. You get the max discount if you use coupon code BGT at checkout for Take Profit. Shameless plug here. Shameless plug, but genuinely useful for traders. Most day traders lose money. It doesn't matter what course you take, who you follow. Most day traders are going to lose. And so you try to fund your own account thousands of dollars. I lost it when I first got started. This is reality for most day traders. And these funded account programs give you... You're still risking something. But it's not the full extent of risking 5, 10, 20, 30 grand. Like you would funding your own account. So it gives you some risk. Learning's about trading under risk and like learning how to manage those emotions. So it's kind of like a souped up demo account, like a middle ground. And so again, you want to check it out. Here is the link for Take Profit. I'll pin it to the top of the chat. They are an affiliate of mine. I get paid by them. I'm biased. I try to give people free stuff and just be honest with people. But yeah, if you want to check it out, here is the link. Take Profit. I'll pin it to the top of the chat. Yeah, I think it'll go through NY. Yeah, I think it will. Hey, later, Matt. Hey, thank you, R. Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, let's see if we get a breakdown right now here on the NASDAQ. This is when we're getting past some of this high volume area here, so maybe we'll have more room to break, but we also could just get pushed back up because it's kind of the bottom range there. Yeah, I think it'll go through. We'll see. I think it will. It's not going to affect the markets as much as like the previous shutdowns, but I think it will. Where's Bitcoin at this morning? Bitcoin down to 65,000 here. Let's look at Bitcoin. It's scary for Bitcoin. Yeah, and listen, the money that if you do use my code BGT, it'll just give you more giveaways and stuff like that. So again, you can use BGT on Tradeify, you can use it on Lucid, you can use it on Take Profit, you can use it on Apex. The BGT on all of them will work. Alright, so we're back in this high volume node area, the volume profile here, you can see it. So my hands are off right now. Yeah, so apparently the Iran-linked hackers are claiming breach of FBI director's email. Any good news is better than no news. I'm hoping that the CSA funding bill goes through. You guys red or green today? I'm pretty nicely green here. The S&P 500 is not, though. You know, I'm pretty nicely green. Again, the S&P 500 is not very nicely green. Circle. Any good news is better than no news. Red, green, flattish, small green. So guys, I have not heard from I'm having a lot of people be like, hey, I posted earlier. Stuff around. If not, you don't win. Comment on the main day trading section of our Discord here. With a picture of you. Seen oil? Yeah, oil's up, but it's actually coming. Brent crude's coming down a little bit. WTI crude's up to $98 a barrel, though. I used live chat. I had a couple different people confirm it was. Look, I can go back to it. Yeah. This is live chat. Sorry, guys. You get it. Latency means it shows up differently on your end sometimes. All right, next week we got a busy week too here. Just be ready. All right, so we're at 97.80s here, 97.80s.
Nathan, my name is Britt, not Brent. B-R-I-T-T.
You better make sure you get the extra T too, because he'll get mad at you. 100%.
Dude, he's my best friend, and he misspelled my name for like 20 years.
Bro, I take the shortcut for everything, dude. If I gotta type another T, it's not even worth it. All right. If I gotta type another T, it's just not even worth it. Bro, I'm gonna, you know what? I'm just gonna call you Bert, like your dad. You know.
No biggie, Nathan.
I'll be Ernie, you know. All right, guys, oil's still pushing up here. Michigan sentiment was not good. It was bad. It was low. It also pushed the market down some. Lower than expected, higher inflation outlook for March. Nasdaq still flushing down here, though. Look at it. Will we get more strikes over the weekend? Yeah, I'm trying to stay here longer. Most of my channel, like, we mostly just cover economics. But I told myself, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start streaming a little bit longer every day. Trade a little bit more, you know, have some more fun. I think it's just better.
Big trader, trading advice or live advice? Because trust me, you don't want either from me.
Yeah. I can confirm that, you know. Yeah, Britt does not know trading. The second T is silent. Here's the question. Do we get escalation over the weekend? Hey, what's up, Fimi? Fimi in chat? Let me see. Agreed slightly, but yesterday was rough on memory and energy.
I think we can probably expect mild, like uptick in activity, escalation, whatever you want to say. I don't think it'll be too bad, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, you might be right. I don't see stuff in chat right now. So I'm gonna give them 3 minutes to show up.
We didn't jump off before he could claim his prize.
So we might have to go give it to somebody else. I'm looking at Discord, brother. I don't see it. No, I don't think we hear more deadline extensions. Boy, ground troops. Yeah, that's the escalation I would think we would hear, is that there are more ground troops. Confirmation of some of the rumors there. Lower lows. Nasdaq just cracked lows again here, guys. Look at it. So the Nasdaq down again. Look, here's the Nasdaq. So. Yeah. Fibby, I was talking to Fibby yesterday. Fibby's a former NFL player. He played for what, like 12 years in the NFL. I kind of sat down and chatted with him yesterday. Yeah, he had pawn all mixed up. He was like, I see pawn. I think he said he sees pawn as a young Asian guy. I think is what he said. You know, and I showed him this picture. I was like, this is pawn right here. Oh, hey. This is pawn right here. Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can add stuff. It's not even letting me add him. Is it capital? At features got off. All right, guys. Yeah, Phoebe played for the Ravens, which, you know, listen, I got to be a Saints fan, but I can respect it. I can respect it.
I'm a fair weather Saints fan. They've let me down too many times.
I believe in them this year. We've got shook. You know, we had a hard time with the quarterback, and, you know,
how do you replace Drew Brees? I mean, realistically.
Right. I thought Taysom did great. Taysom Hill. I thought Taysom did great. I don't know why he's more of a utility player, but I get it. I get it.
Yeah. So you're gonna redo the competition, or just go to whoever was next if stuff doesn't respond?
Blaze keeps posting him. He's like, I really won this competition. Honestly, we probably got like about 4 or 5 people that are telling me that. They're like, I really won. Here's my proof. It's turning into this twist.
Lost you for about 10 seconds. Sorry.
No, I said Blaze keeps posting the screenshot of him actually winning, according to him. He's like, oops, I accidentally posted it again. This is spinning out of control too fast, I think. Conspiracy. No, I don't think I'm gonna redo the competition. I'm just gonna give it to my runner-up.
I'm looking at the chat right now. It looks like he didn't spell it right, but it looks like Eric Wallen was second.
Should I accept that? What did he say? I noticed that he spelled it STEFV.
VFE, yeah.
I didn't say how to say it. I didn't say how to spell it, so I think I kind of have to accept it from Eric Wallen here.
Well, Blaze it's also probably just a mess up, mistake.
Yeah, Blaze is gonna be upset.
Oh well.
Sorry, Blaze.
Not to be flippant, but you got to give it to who actually won it.
Yeah. And I think if you spell out STEVFE, it still sounds like Steve, right? So
it does. It definitely does.
Right. The F is silent. Yeah. All right. He's probably not even here anymore. We'll figure out how to do this. Look.
Sorry, Blaze.
Yeah. Yeah, but I didn't specify how to spell it. All right, guys, look, I'm going to get out of here. Y'all have a great day. Y'all have a safe weekend. Remember, craziness could happen over the weekend, guys. Craziness could happen. Y'all be careful. Markets are close to lows again. It's looking like the NASDAQ might actually crack lows real quick here right now. Hold on. So it's looking like we're going to break lows. Y'all just be careful. Y'all just be careful. And again, if you want to check out Lucid, great way to help support the channel. Great direct-to-funded options with Lucid. You can use promo code BGT on all of them. BGT. Beginner trading, BGT. You can use it on Lucid, Tradeify, Apex, Take Profit, and more. Y'all be good. Have a great day. I'll see you guys later.
Later, everybody. Have a good day.
Yeah, have a great weekend, guys. I'll see you guys later.